Hello, welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. 5 Eats. Chapter 201 Self-Righteous as You. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Refill the arm of the stone giant. Don't be too self-righteous, you bastard. Only Pika said in his sharp voice. At the same time, the giant stone giant started to attack Susanoo of Uchiha Madara. Humph. Hearing the voice of Pika from the giant stone statue, Uchiha Madara couldn't help snorting coldly with a look of disdain. I think it's you who thinks you are right. Just let you see my power, you poor bastard who sits and watches the sky. Uchiha Madara said this, looking at the stone giant in front of him. Uchiha Madara's Susanoo also started to move. Intense chakra energy flowed on Susanoo. I saw Uchiha Madara Susanoo 877, and pulled out a tachi on his waist. He stared blankly at the giant stone statue that was punching like a mountain in front of him. Advertisement. FK me to death, you bastard. The stone giant kept approaching, and Pika also screamed in anger and roared. Come on, Pika-sama, kill that guy. The other officials of the Doflamingo family below, as well as the members who have not fainted, are now looking at the figure of the giant Pika stone statue. Immediately inspired, I couldn't help shouting loudly for him. However, in the next second, I saw Uchiha Madara Susanoo, pulling out Daa, that great sword in his hand. An incomparably powerful chakra energy gathered in the blade of the Teidao. Immediately afterwards, I saw the great sword in Uchiha Madara Susanoo's hand, slashing from the bottom to the top of Pika's stone giant. The members of the Doflamingo family who were cheering for Pika on the ground only felt a strong and painful wind whistling past. He couldn't even open his eyes, he could only block his hands in front of him, barely slowing down the impact of the strong wind. Boom. Advertisement. Only heard a roar like a landslide. The strong wind just subsided. And these Doflamingo family members were finally able to open their eyes and observe the situation in front of them. When they saw the things in front of them clearly, they were shocked to see a huge and incomparable deep ravine. It was from the front of Uchiha Madara Susanoo, all the way to the giant statue of Pika. It was abruptly splitting the giant stone statue of Pika into two halves with one knife. And Napaka, the half of the giant stone statue was split open. It was because of the strong slash that temporarily stopped in midair. In the Rinnegan of Uchiha Madara, you can clearly see that the big man with a sharp voice is in the half-stone statue in the air. Humph, it's time to end it. Uchiha Madara said coldly, looking at the half-giant stone statue that had not yet fallen in midair. Advertisement. I saw Uchiha Madara's hands meet, condensing the chakra in his body into a black sphere. Then, he gently threw it into the half-giant stone statue hiding Pika. At the same time, a few words are gently spit out of the mouth. Planetary devastation. At this time, Pika, who was still in the half of the giant stone statue, also appeared from the stone statue. Exposing half of his body on the half of the giant stone statue, clenching his teeth, staring at Uchiha Madara. What's up with this guy's power? However, before Pika could react, she saw a small black ball quietly entering the half of the giant stone statue where it was. What is this? Pika, who noticed the black ball, immediately felt bad, but it was too late now. Advertisement. Chapter 202 Tengai Shinsei. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. What it is. Pika watched as the black ball merged into the half of the giant stone statue where she was. Just when Pika was puzzled, she suddenly felt a powerful attraction that erupted from the half-giant stone statue. What's going on? This sudden attraction. The half-giant stone statue that was about to fall, also at this time, strangely stopped in the air. And with the explosion of this attraction, all the surrounding objects were also affected. Whether it is stone, wood, or metal, they are all attracted by this gravitational force, and they gather towards the half-giant stone statue of Pika that is parked in the air. Seeing this strange situation in front of her, Pika suddenly felt that something was wrong, and she wanted to solve the assimilation with the rock. Advertisement. I want to escape from the gathering center of this gravitational force. However, when Pika unraveled the state of assimilation with the rock, she realized that she could not escape at all. Because this strong gravitational force also controlled Pika. Pika, who had just released the rock assimilation state, was about to take off and leave the half-giant stone statue. But it was caught by this powerful gravitational force and pressed back to the half of the giant stone statue. This powerful gravitational force made Pika instantly lose the ability to move, and more objects gathered. Damn it! Why can't I escape? In a few breaths, countless objects were buried under the sharp roar of the pickup. A huge rock sphere has also been completely formed at this time, quietly floating in the air. Seeing this scene in front of them, the cadres and members of the Doflamingo family below couldn't help but froze in place. Is this something that humans can do? Advertisement. Kamui pirates, everyone is a monster. However, the matter is not over. That Pika was just trapped in the rock. Because of the ability of the stone fruit, Pika was not in danger for the time being, but was unable to move. But Uchiha Madara has no plans to stop. I saw Uchiha Madara and Susanoo, as if in sync, they quickly formed 3 different handprints at the same time. Tengai Shinsei. I only heard Uchiha Madara spit out a few words, and above this dark sky, there was a faint sound of howling and breaking the wind. Seeing Uchiha Madara's actions, Kronos, who was originally watching a play, couldn't sit still. Zero asked for flowers. He quickly spoke to Uchiha Madara. Madara, be careful and don't destroy the whole island. Advertisement. After all, Kronos knows the power of the ninjutsu Uchiha Madara. Oh, Captain Kronos, I don't need you to say more, I have my measure. Hearing Kronos' words, Uchiha Madara just smiled and responded to Kronos. Immediately afterwards, under the horrified gaze of the cadres of the Doflamingo family below. Then I saw that a huge meteorite fell from the sky. And the location where it fell was trapped Pika, the huge sphere that planetary devastation gathered. The cadres and members of Brother Tofu Nao Ming's family on the ground were already slumped on the ground because their legs were too weak to stand. Looking at the huge meteorite, a deep despair has risen in my heart. Under the horrified gaze of everyone, the huge meteorite that appeared in the sky directly hit the sphere formed by planetary devastation. I just felt a flash of white light, followed by a strong shock and heat wave. 0. Advertisement. Chapter 203. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Boom. A deafening explosion sounded from where the meteorite collided with the planetary devastation sphere. Kronos, who felt the fierce attack for the first time, also shot instantly. At the center of the explosion, a huge space boundary wall was quickly formed, and the power and aftermath of the explosion were all blocked. But even so, Kronos couldn't completely stop the aftermath of the explosion. The strong impact generated by the aftermath directly rushed out of the palace heights, destroying all the buildings in the residential area within a range of more than 10 meters. Madara, didn't I want you to pay attention? Feeling the violent impact, Kronos, who was sitting on the side of the chair, said helplessly. Hearing the captain's words, Uchiha Madara couldn't help laughing. That's right, I've controlled it to the point where I won't completely erase this island from the nautical chart. Advertisement. In this regard, Kronos can only shake his head helplessly, can only say that the two people's understanding is somewhat different. Kronos thought that the kingdom of Dressrosa could continue to exist, but Uchiha Madara almost wiped it out. The aftermath of the shock passed, and everything was settled. The Doflamingo family cadres who had resisted the blast from the explosion all slumped on the ground without exception. Looking at the devastated palace heights around him with despair, he couldn't say a word. And as for the Pika who can control the rock and stone fruit ability. Under the impact of the meteorite, there were no bones left. The 3 most powerful cadres of the Doflamingo family. Diamante, the banner-flying fruit wielder, Toripal, the slime-wielding fruit wielder, and Pika the rock man, the stone fruit wielder. All dead now. Advertisement. Looking at the devastated surroundings, the cadres and members of the Doflamingo family were already in despair. Their young master, Doflamingo, is now trapped in the wooden space of people, and doesn't know what the situation is. Along with the other 3 strongest cadres, Diamante, Toripal and Pika, they all lost their lives in the face of the overwhelming strength of the opposing team. Conan, Pen 6 Paths, Artoria and others came to these remaining Doflamingo family cadres and looked at these people in front of them. Immediately, Conan threw out a detonating talisman and knocked one of them to the ground. 0. After all, Kronos had ordered that none of the members of the Doflamingo family should stay. Therefore, It is impossible for these guys to be left behind. Seeing that the other party was so cruel, he let the person next to him fall like this as soon as he made a move. At this juncture of life and death, all of a sudden these people's desire to survive is aroused. They quickly dispersed and fled everywhere. Advertisement. But helplessly, the strength of these people is really too weak. In front of Conan, pen 6 paths, Arturia, and Tornado. There is no chance of escape at all. Even if he was lucky enough to escape for a while, he would be caught up in the next second, and then fell into a pool of blood. In a blink of an eye, 0.0 of the main cadres of the Doflamingo family present died. At the moment when all the cadres of the Doflamingo family died, in Dressrosa, there was a change that shocked the whole country. At this point, Doflamingo, who has been trapped in the Hashirama wood dragon technique. It is directly with the line, opened a big hole in the ground, broke free from the shackles of the wooden dragon technique. From the ground on the other side, a hole was opened, stepping on countless threads and flying out. Advertisement. Chapter 204 Angry Doflamingo. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. When Doflamingo flew out of the cave and saw that the originally gorgeous palace had disappeared, even the high ground had been leveled. All that's left is a devastated rubble. And what annoyed Doflamingo the most was, whether it is Diamante, Toripal, Pika, or other members of the cadre, they are all dead at this moment. Doflamingo's observation hockey can no longer sense their presence. And all this happened just a few minutes after Doflamingo was trapped in the wooden dragon. In just a few short minutes, everything changed. Seeing the desolate endgame in front of him, Doflamingo couldn't help sneering. Buddha Buddha Buddha. Advertisement. 30. Then, Doflamingo turned to face Kronos. His face was full of anger, his eyes under the sunglasses were staring at Kronos. The whole body of Conqueror's hockey continued to be released, and at the same time, a wonderful change was also revealed from Doflamingo. Kronos. Doflamingo only heard a roar, even ignoring the existence of Hashirama, stepping on the silk thread and heading straight for Kronos. Seeing this, Hashirama shot directly on the ground to grow countless trees, obstructing Doflamingo's progress. But the strange thing is that where Doflamingo passed, the ground turned into a sea of white silk threads strangely. Oh, is the fruit awakening? Seeing the ground turned into a sea of white threads, Kronos raised his eyebrows and said lightly. For this situation, Kronos was not surprised at all. After all, Kronos knew for a long time that Doflamingo's fruit powers were awakened very early on. Watching the scope of its influence is getting bigger and bigger, almost the entire scope of the palace heights. Advertisement. They are all affected by Doflamingo's fruit ability, and they are drawn into a sea of white silk threads. And it is constantly surging, forming white waves one after another. The constant pounding shatters the trees that the Hashirama created to hinder him. Watching Doflamingo rush towards him, Kronos did nothing. Just sit in a chair and wait quietly. After all, Hashirama said, don't do it yourself, Doflamingo will do it to him. Out of trust in Hashirama, Kronos naturally had no doubts. Hey, you don't seem to take me seriously. Seeing Doflamingo running towards Kronos in front of him, Hashirama said with some displeasure. Immediately afterwards, a black line slowly appeared on the corner of Hashirama's eyes and forehead. A strange energy gathered in Hashirama's body. And this is Hashirama's sage mode where the power of nature is gathered. Advertisement. In this state, various abilities of the body will be increased by 877. Hashirama's ninjutsu, taijutsu, and illusion can all be improved by leaps and bounds. Immediately afterwards, I saw Hashirama's hands change in an instant. The chakra all over the body also burst out suddenly. Sage Art Mayayanman. Hearing Hashirama whispering, the ninjutsu is activated instantly. From somewhere in the sky, several dark red torii gates were born. Towards Doflamingo, it slammed down straight and quickly. What? Noticing the strange Doflamingo, he looked up quickly. Then I saw the dark red torii gates falling from the top of my head. Advertisement. Chapter 205 Sage Art Myojin Gate. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Seeing several torii gates falling from the top of his head, Doflamingo also instinctively sensed the danger. He raised his hand and opened a huge net above his head, trying to stop the falling speed of these torii gates. At the same time, the force of the foot also instantly left the position where the Torii should fall. However, the giant net that Doflamingo opened couldn't stop the speed of the Torii's fall. The giant net was directly broken by the Torii. Moreover, these Torii gates are still smashing in the direction of Doflamingo. Anticipating the direction of Doflamingo's travel, these dark red Torii gates smashed directly around Doflamingo. In an instant, 5 or 6 dark red Torii gates smashed directly around Doflamingo, surrounding Doflamingo. Looking at the dark red Torii gates surrounding him, Doflamingo suddenly felt bad. Advertisement. Just as he was about to escape from the siege of the Torii, several dark red Torii appeared from above Doflamingo's head. Straight to Doflamingo. And now Doflamingo is surrounded by Torii gates that have just fallen. The only way to leave the encircling direction is above. But now, several Torii gates popping up above his head directly blocked Doflamingo's last path. The unwilling Doflamingo directly controls the silk waves on the ground. Several huge spikes were formed, and the Torii fell towards the top, and it was suddenly stabbed. The great wave white line. I saw Brother Ming roared, and the giant waves of silk threads he manipulated turned into spikes, hitting the Torii above directly. When the attack hits, several Torii gates were directly destroyed by Doflamingo's attack, turning into debris in the air and generating bursts of smoke. Advertisement. But unfortunately, Doflamingo still missed a Torii. I saw this dark red Torii, rushing out from the smoke. It hit Doflamingo directly. And this time, Doflamingo couldn't react. After all, this Torii is already quite close to it. Boom. Only heard a dull sound of objects falling. The dark red Torii gate had already landed, pinning Doflamingo's entire body to the ground. After that, several more Torii gates appeared from the sky above Doflamingo, and they fell towards Doflamingo in pursuit of victory. Several dark red Torii gates are pinning Doflamingo firmly at the moment. And with Doflamingo getting pinned by these Torii gates. Advertisement. The white silk thread waves on the original ground slowly dissipated and receded at this moment, returning to the original appearance of the land. Doflamingo, who was pinned by these Torii gates, was surprised to find out at this time. I can't even use my abilities. What are these Torii gates? Could it be that there are seastone ingredients in them? Why can't I use my abilities? And the reason why Doflamingo loses his fruit ability is because of Hashirama, the sage art, Maya-Yinman. In the Hokage world of Hashirama's original, Qian Jiao Jiao, Hashirama's move is an ninjutsu that can control the enemy and seal the rest of the chakra in a short time. Although there is no such thing as chakra in the pirate world, but instead, it is the ability of devil fruit, which can even weaken the enemy's conqueror's haki. Therefore, Doflamingo, who was controlled by Hashirama's sage art Maya-Yinman, naturally lost his devil fruit ability. In the face of this situation, Doflamingo also began to panic. Turn. Advertisement. Chapter 206 There is no regret medicine in the world. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Damn it, why can't I use my abilities? Doflamingo, who was trapped by the Torii, is struggling at this moment, trying to break free from the Torii. But no matter how much Doflamingo struggles, it's all in vain. It's useless. If you are nailed by my Mingshan gate, you can't possibly escape. Taking a leap, Hashirama stood beside Doflamingo, looking down at Doflamingo who was pinned to the ground and said indifferently. Although he heard Hashirama say this, Doflamingo obviously doesn't want to believe it. I want to push away these dark red Torii gates with all my strength. But all in vain. The fruit ability cannot be used, and the dark red Torii on the body cannot be pushed open with brute force. Advertisement. After struggling a few times, I found that the fruitless Dover 877 Ming brother also had a faint sense of panic in his heart. The current Doflamingo is like a radish on a chopping board, and it can only be a mermaid. Hashirama also doesn't intend to give Doflamingo any chance. Chakra burst out with incomparable haki, and wanted to kill Doflamingo directly. Feeling the aura emanating from Hashirama, Doflamingo, who has no resistance at all, panicked. After all, Doflamingo never thought he would die in a place like this. At the same time, he regretted his decision to start. If the decisions made at the beginning were different, maybe this is not the scene now. Wait a minute. Kronos. Seeing that Hashirama was about to start, At this critical moment of life and death, Doflamingo hurriedly shouted. Hearing Doflamingo's shout, Kronos subconsciously turned his attention to Doflamingo. Advertisement. Bay Kronos reacted. Hashirama also stopped the movement of his hands, and did not immediately end Doflamingo. And Kronos just looked at Doflamingo lightly, waiting quietly to see what Doflamingo had to say. Kronos, I already regret the decision I made in the first place. I saw Doflamingo, yelling at Kronos. I've changed my mind now, I'm surrendering to you now. Okay. I just heard Doflamingo speak hysterically. Hearing Doflamingo say this, Kronos shook his head and spoke slowly. Can't. What? Doflamingo couldn't believe Kronos' reply. Can't help shouting hysterically. Why? I surrender to you now, and all the properties under my family can be given to you. Advertisement. By the way, I also know the secrets of world government. Just when Doflamingo Chesty was about to say something, he was interrupted by Kronos shaking his hand. I'm not interested in any of your industries at all, and I don't need to know the secrets of the world government you mentioned. 1. If I want to, I can spend a little time and go to the world government, and I can also know. Moreover, I have given you the opportunity to choose from the beginning, but it's a pity that you didn't grasp it. As Kronos spoke, he looked at Doflamingo lightly. He shook his head and said, the opportunity is fleeting, if you miss it, you can't get it back. There is no regret medicine in the world. The new book has set sail. The title of the book is, The Strongest Combat Power in the Headquarters is Rewarded by Buggy. The title of the book is too long. You can search for the author's name, or click the author's name to go directly. If you are interested, take a look. Advertisement. Chapter 207 The Death of Doflamingo and the Riots in Dressrosa. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. There is no regret medicine in the world. Hearing Kronos say this, Doflamingo, who was nailed under the Torii gate, also recognized the reality. The unruly face in the past is now a face of ashes. I can't help but think back to when Kronos made a decision at the beginning. If he had simply chosen to surrender in the first place, perhaps his family members would not have died at all. And he will not face such a dilemma. But as Kronos said, there is no regret medicine in the world. Everything is fixed and cannot be changed. Advertisement. Seeing that Kronos has nothing to say to Doflamingo anymore, Hashirama is also bursting out with chakra again. With a single punch, Doflamingo, who had no resistance at the moment, ended here. With a splash of blood. Heavenly Yaksha, one of the Shichibukai, the clown of the underworld dark world. Doflamingo is dead. And a few minutes ago, in Dressrosa, countless residents have seen the strangeness coming from the palace heights. Huge roars and powerful shocks came from the palace heights from time to time. At the same time, I saw the battle between the stone giant and a giant figure emitting a blue light. Not long after, with the fall of a meteorite, a fierce light erupted from the palace heights, followed by a strong heat wave. See the palace heights that have been almost razed to the ground. All Dressrosa residents fell into extreme panic at this moment. Advertisement. And in this crowd, a sturdy old man with an iron mask just silently watched everything that happened in the palace heights. I thought to myself, what happened to the Doflamingo family? It would be nice if something really happened, maybe the country could get better. Just when the old man was thinking like this, it didn't take long for a huge riot to break out on the whole street. Just when the old man wanted to check what happened. But I saw all kinds of toys on the street, constantly changing back to human figures at this moment. And with more and more toys, it began to change back to human appearance. The darkness that has been hidden in this country for so long has finally been revealed. 0 for flowers 00. And that sturdy old man wearing an iron mask also recalled something at this moment. The corners of the eyes under the mask could not help shedding a few turbid tears. Advertisement. Cyrus. The pink-haired girl in an arena also remembered everything at this moment, and couldn't help covering her mouth and shed tears. With tears in his eyes, he looked at the tall stone statue in the arena, crying, and couldn't help but say, Dad. And all of this is because they remembered the true identity of the one-legged toy soldier who always appeared by their side. The master of the stone statue in the arena. A sword fighter with an unbeaten record of 3,000 battles in the arena. The former captain of the Dressrosa army, loved by the previous Dressrosa king, King Riku. He is also the father of the pink-haired girl in this arena. The toy soldier whom they recalled was also in a dark alley at the moment, and changed back to the appearance of a human. However, just like when he was in toy appearance, he also lost a leg. 0. Advertisement. Chapter 208 The Darkness Beneath the Beautiful Surface. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. With all members of the Doflamingo family perish. At this time, in Dressrosa, riots continued to spread. Because more and more toys have become human again. And people have recovered their memory of the original human identity of the toy. The darkness hidden under this seemingly beautiful country has also been completely exposed. The culprit responsible for all this is the 880, in the Doflamingo family, a person with the ability to have a childlike fruit called sugar. The ability she possesses is the ability to turn a human being she touches into a jumping and moving toy. Advertisement. Moreover, sugar can issue orders, so that people who become toys can't defy the Doflamingo family. And at the moment when this person becomes a toy, anyone in the world will lose the memory of this person. Even if this person used to be the closest person to him. And the Doflamingo family ruled Dressrosa for so many years. There are always people who will be turned into toys continuously, and then be forgotten. The unlucky, after being turned into toys and forgotten, will be sent to Doflamingo's underground factory to do cool labor. If you are lucky, you can only endure being forgotten by the closest people, can't say anything, and live like this as a toy. And now, because the Kamui pirates wiped out the Doflamingo family. The ability effect of this childlike fruit, naturally at this time, all lifted. Those who were once turned into toys have finally recovered their original bodies. Advertisement. As for their memories, their relatives and friends also recalled them instantly. For a while, the panic over the shocking battle between the Kamui pirates and the Doflamingo family on the high grounds of the palace was also forgotten. Countless people who got rid of their toy identities and became human again all held their heads and cried bitterly. The people who have recovered their memories and are able to love each other again are embracing each other at the moment, weeping. And Kronos didn't bother to pay attention to what was going on inside Dressrosa. Just greeted, let the crew rest for a while, and then waited quietly. After all, the Doflamingo family, the rulers of this country, have been wiped out by themselves. Now I need to occupy this country myself, and naturally I need a new ruler to let myself govern this country. In this regard, Kronos has already made plans, and it was Kronos' plan to let Violet go when the battle started. After all, Kronos knew that the previous king before Doflamingo came, is still alive. 0. Advertisement. And Violet, as the former princess who was occupied by the previous kingdom and endured by Doflamingo's side, learned all this now. Knowing the news of the Doflamingo family's defeat, surely going to her father who was a king. If nothing else, and these guys are sensible enough. The next thing is easy to do. So, Kronos will just have to wait here for now. 0.0. And Violet, who ran out before the battle, had already recalled something about the toy soldiers at this moment. While wiping my tears, I searched for my father on the chaotic street. Brother-in-law Cyrus. Father. The Doflamingo family has come to an end. Finally someone can overthrow them. I must tell my father about this. Advertisement. Chapter 209 Thanks to the Nationals of Dressrosa. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. In the battle just now, there has never been a chance for Asak, Vians, Populin and others to take action. Can only be obediently and, with Kronos, stand by and watch the play. And the battle is over, they naturally have to act. They began to clear the battlefield and moved the remaining belongings of the Doflamingo family in the palace back to the ship. Although these things are not that important to Kronos. But in any case, these are their own spoils, and Asak and the others are idle for 30 years, so they let them move. What's more, Asak and the others don't dislike the amount of property at all. Advertisement. Captain Kronos, what are we waiting for here? Asak, who had already looted the entire palace, got off the boat and asked with some doubts. Kronos, on the other hand, was sitting on a reclining chair, holding a piece of barbecue in his hand, waiting quietly while eating. But hearing Asak's sudden question, Kronos couldn't help but start to think. Those guys wouldn't dare to come here. If that's the case, then you'll be waiting here in vain. If that's the case, then it seems that he has to find another person to replace him as the new king of this country. Just when Kronos was hesitating and thinking, a mighty group of people, led by Violet, had already reached the ruins of the original palace heights. Kronos, who sensed the presence of these people, couldn't help but lift his spirits a little. Then he said to Asak, "Well, the person to wait has come." Immediately afterwards, I saw these people, all kneeling and bowing towards the figure of Kronos in the ruins. Advertisement. And at this moment, Kronos' prestige skyrocketed. Ding. Prestige plus 50. Ding. Prestige plus 70. Ding. Prestige plus 50. Countless pieces of prestige are constantly increasing, and Kronos' prestige has quickly grown to around 90,000, and it's still growing. This situation caught Kronos a little off guard. Because originally Kronos thought that he would only get the system prestige reward after he successfully marked the kingdom as his territory. Unexpectedly, it will get so many prestige points. Although the prestige value of a single increase is not much, it can't stand such a large number. The quantity eventually caused a qualitative change, and the prestige value of Kronos soon reached the limit of nearly 100,000. Advertisement. Prestige. 98,700. And it's still growing. I believe it won't take long before Kronos' Wangwang value can successfully exceed 100,000. And Kronos also guessed that the reason why he was able to gain so much prestige was mostly because 880 eliminated the Doflamingo family for himself. Break this beautiful fairy tale of a false toy living with people in the kingdom ruled by the Doflamingo family, and reveal the true dark side. In fact, it was the same. The citizens of Daros Rosa who learned the truth were informed by Violet. Knowing the culprit responsible for all this, the Ming family was sealed off, and it has been eliminated by the Kamui pirates. Citizens who were still afraid of the Kamui pirates have turned into respect and gratitude now. After all, if it wasn't for the appearance of the Kamui pirates, they would never have known the truth, and the people who were turned into toys would never have been freed. Advertisement. Chapter 210 The Newborn of Dressrosa. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Just as Asak and the others looked at everything in front of them with astonishment, a few people walked out from the crowd. Among them is Violet, who had escaped from the battle and belonged to the Doflamingo family. Behind Violet, there is a sturdy old man with an iron mask on his chest, a pink-haired girl, and a tall man with only one leg left. Seeing these few people, they quickly walked to Kronos. And Kronos also recognized these people. The sturdy old man holding an iron mask is King Liku, the previous king of Dressrosa. The tall one-legged man is Cyrus, the former army commander of Dressrosa, and the pink-haired girl is Cyrus, daughter Rebecca. I saw a few people knelt down towards Kronos at the same time after they arrived in front of Kronos. And King Riku also hurriedly said to Kronos, "Thank you so much. Because of your presence, the Doflamingo family was resolved, and we were rescued from the darkness. Although you didn't come to understand and save us specifically, but anyway, thank you very much for everything you've done. Destroyed Doflamingo for us. I still want to express my deep gratitude to you on behalf of myself and the people of this country." Advertisement. Violet, Cyrus, and Rebecca, who were beside King Riku, all spoke to Kronos at the same time. "Thank you so much." Kronos half squinted, not interested in what King Riku and the others said. After all, it doesn't matter to them whether they are grateful or not. So Kronos said straight to the point with King Riku. "You are the last king of this country." Hearing Kronos' sudden question, King Riku couldn't help but froze for a moment, then nodded in response. Then, if Kronos continued, "Then now that the Doflamingo family is gone, you should continue to be your king, right?" Hearing Kronos' words, King Riku's face could not help showing a look of panic. "I'm afraid this is not very good. I failed to protect my citizens from Doflamingo before, and caused them deep damage. I have no face to continue to be this king. I am ashamed of my citizens. I'm afraid the people don't want me to continue to be king anymore. 1. Let Cyrus be king." But Cyrus quickly stopped King Riku's words and wanted to reject King Riku. Hearing the words of the people in front of him, Kronos waved his hand and said, "Advertisement. I don't care about your stuff. I don't care if you want to be king or whoever is king. All I need is that Dressrosa is to be marked as my territory, and my pirate flag is planted. Is that okay?" Hearing Kronos' words, King Riku said, I don't think there's a problem with dividing Dressrosa into your territory. After all, it was you who saved our country. That's it. Dressrosa is my territory. As for who you want to be king, you can argue for yourself. You just have to promise me that Dressrosa will never leave my territory. After that, Kronos took everyone back to the Angel of Redemption. At the bottom, Violet, King Riku, Cyrus, Rebecca and others thanked Kronos again. Violet spoke directly to King Riku. Father, how do you know that the people don't want you to continue to be king? There is no such thing as Doflamingo now, so it won't go bad no matter what. If you still have concerns, why don't you ask the people for their opinions? After all, Violet brought King Riku directly to the people. Advertisement. Everyone, are you still willing to make my father the king of Dressrosa? Seeing Violet and Dressrosa's former king, King Riku, the people on the field looked very happy. Yes, why not? When King Riku was king, we lived happily ever after. Everything that happened after that was just Doflamingo's fault. Chians, we still trust you. King Riku, be our king again. Hearing the words of these citizens on the field, King Riku couldn't help but burst into tears. After all, he is a king, but when facing Doflamingo, he failed to protect the citizens, causing them to suffer for such a long time. And even so, they are still willing to believe in themselves and let themselves be re-elected kings. In this way, King Riku regained his status as King Dressrosa. Dressrosa also came out of the darkness and entered the new life. And Dressrosa, also officially designated as Kronos territory. Advertisement. Chapter 211 Instantly shrinking prestige. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Regardless of who they were going to be kings, Kronos returned to the ship with Conan, Gojo Satoru and the others. After a few days of rest on Dressrosa, after replenishing the supplies needed on board, Kronos was also about to leave Dressrosa. As for all matters of Dressrosa, it has already been dealt with properly. Surrounded by the people, King Riku returned to the throne of Dressrosa. And Dressrosa also all planted the banner of Kamui One Piece. And announced to the outside, Dressrosa is already the territory of Kronos. With nothing else to do, the Kronos group decided to leave. He didn't even bother to fight with King Riku and the others. Under the control of the tornado mind, the Angel of Redemption flew away from the sky under Dressrosa's gaze. Advertisement. The Angel of Redemption returned to its normal sea route and moved forward slowly. At this time, Kronos was in the captain's room, looking at the panel of the system. Open black lens bracket host close black lens bracket. Kronos. Open black lens bracket prestige close black lens bracket. 125,000. Abilities Renren fruit. Observation hockey, top armament hockey, top conquerors hockey, top. Convened members Conan, Wujo, Jiguyueni, Daa, Tiandao Pain, Animal Dao Pain, Human Dao Pain, Hell Dao Pain, Shira Dao Pain, Hungry Keto Pain, Uchiha Madara, Al Toria, Bangu, Albedo, Senju Hashirama, Tornado. Open black lens bracket holdings close black lens bracket. None. Open black lens bracket entrance to prize pool close black lens bracket close double angle bracket close double angle bracket close black lens bracket. Seeing that the prestige value had reached 120,000, Kronos couldn't help feeling a little happy. Before coming to Dressrosa, Kronos only had more than 80,000 prestige points. Advertisement. And after destroying the Doflamingo family, liberating Dressrosa's toys, and successfully marking Dressrosa as his territory, the prestige value of Kronos has skyrocketed by more than 40,000, and it has reached the current level. Not much to say, since the prestige is enough to summon a new member. Without any hesitation, Kronos directly summoned new members with prestige. Open black lens bracket convening members 51,200, time close black lens bracket. Without the slightest hesitation, Kronos clicked the button to summon members. Immediately afterwards, the sound of the system sounded crisply in Kronos' mind. Ding! Prestige value minus 102,400. Hear the crisp sound of the system ringing. And the prestige that was originally extremely wealthy, at this time, disappeared like a stream of water. Advertisement. The string of numbers on the system panel rapidly decreased, and finally only the prestige value of 22,600 remained. Kronos couldn't help but feel a pain in the flesh when he saw the instant shrinking of his prestige. Immediately afterwards, the crisp sound of the system continued to sound. Congratulations to host for summoning the members of Re-Zero Otherworld, the beast of the end of the permafrost, Parker. Ding! Congratulations to member Parker for obtaining the blessing ability Observation Hockey, Armament Hockey. Hearing the introduction of the system, Kronos couldn't help feeling a little surprised. It turns out that non-humans can also be summoned. After all, Parker is not a human, but a big elf. And this was the first time Kronos had seen the system draw out members of other species, so he was a little surprised. Advertisement. Chapter 212 News in the newspaper. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I saw a warm light suddenly flashing beside Kronos. Countless light particles slowly converged beside Kronos. It didn't take long for a gray-white kitten to be transformed under the convergence of light particles. Yahoo! Yo! First meeting. Captain Kronos. This time, unlike the previous members, they appeared from places that other Kronos could not see, but changed directly beside Kronos. Yo! First meeting. Parker. Hearing Parker greet him, Kronos responded with a smile. However, seeing this Parker floating in the air is so small, I can't help but feel a little curious. Because Parker's body should be very huge. But the size of Parker I see now is a little bit different from what I remember. Advertisement. Seemingly sensing what Kronos was thinking, Parker folded his claws on his chest and said with a hey hey. Hey, Captain Kronos, don't worry. I can change back to my original state, but if I usually stay on the ship, it's better for me to appear in this state. Otherwise, if it appears in the form of the main body, I am afraid it will scare many people. And, Captain Kronos, you don't want me sinking the ship with such a gigantic stance. Hearing Parker's words, Kronos' doubts were resolved, and he couldn't help but smile when he heard Parker's teasing words. Then looking at Parker's appearance, an inexplicable impulse rose in his heart. Immediately afterwards, Kronos tentatively reached out and touched Parker's head, but Parker didn't dodge and let Kronos touch his head. Pulling his hand back, Kronos said with a light cough. Cough, okay. Then I'll take you out to meet the other crew members. After all, no one can refuse to touch a elf cat's head. Then, under the leadership of Kronos, Parker and the crew of the ship began to meet and greet. Except for Uchiha Madara, Albedo, Tornado, and Pen Six Paths, etc., there are no special expressions. Everyone else was endeared by Parker's appearance without exception. Even Jigyu Ueni, who rarely talks on weekdays, couldn't help but come over and touch Parker's head. Advertisement. In this way, Parker became a group pet-like existence on the boat. Except for Kronos, what everyone doesn't know is that Parker, who is cute and lovable in their eyes, possesses extremely terrifying strength. After the new member of Parker joined, another few days passed. At this time, the Angel of Redemption was sailing to a desert island to stop and rest. When everyone was busy with their own affairs, a few newspaper delivery gulls flew from the sky. I saw a few bundles of newspapers just dropped from the newspaper delivery gull and fell in front of a sock who was doing maintenance work on the deck at this time. Seeing the newspaper that suddenly fell, a sock picked it up directly from the ground. When a sock saw the contents of the newspaper, his face changed suddenly. Even if you throw away the tools in your hand, don't care about the maintenance. 0 for flowers 00. Headed straight to the captain's room where Kronos was. Knock on the door and shout. Captain Kronos. Come and read the information in the newspaper. Hearing a sack's voice, Kronos also opened the door directly. Advertisement. Then he saw the newspaper that a sack shoved over. Captain. Look. It says in the paper. Members of the Whitebeard Pirates pulled the flag of one of our territories. And they swept it away. Such a blatant provocation. Shall we fight back, Captain? Looking at the information in the newspaper in his hand, Kronos always felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't detect it. However, Kronos will not tolerate his territory being provoked by the Whitebeard Pirates. Ends with Summit War. The Whitebeard Pirates have been quiet. The sudden news is to directly attack the territory that he has declared sovereignty over. Although I don't really care about the situation of those people in the territory, but no matter what. That is also his own territory, how can he tolerate the Whitebeard Pirates being so presumptuous? Let's go and find the Whitebeard Pirates. put down the newspaper in his hand, and Kronos ordered it directly. Exactly. It seemed like he was going to find the Whitebeard pirates before, but things have been going on since the end of the Summit War, so Kronos has no time to find the Whitebeard pirates. It's good now. They've come to the door by themselves, and Kronos naturally won't let it go. 0. Advertisement. 213 reactions from all parties. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. From their debut to the present, the Kamui pirates have been among the strong, and the speed of becoming the fifth emperor is very fast. After the last Summit War, this time they conquered the country of Dressrosa. It was normal for the original four emperors group to dislike his actions. I thought it would be Ant and Kaido who couldn't sit still first, but I didn't expect that the Whitebeard pirates would be so strong, so they would do it to themselves first. This was something that Kronos, 883, never expected, and did not expect Whitebeard to move so fast. Of course, this is no problem for Kronos. Advertisement. If they want to rule the sea area of New World, the four emperors groups, Whitebeard, Ant, Kaido, and Red Hair, will all have to fight sooner or later. Now to fight Whitebeard again, who had already played against him, Kronos thought it was a good thing. If during this process, there are other teams who want to do something, Kronos will not let it go, and it is the best choice to clean up all of them. Meanwhile, it wasn't just Kronos' side that got the news. The rest of the four emperors group of the three parties had all received news of Whitebeard's occupation of Kronos territory. There has been a great deal of chaos inside, and there is a lively discussion about how to deal with it. Inside the headquarters of Red Hair Pirates, Beckman brought the news to Shanks and the crowd, carefully reading the news in the newspaper. Shanks looked at the newspaper with a distressed expression. Advertisement. It seems that Whitebeard is still in a hurry, trying to prove that they are the strongest team in the ocean. I have only just emerged from such a severe war in naval headquarters, and now I want to fight Kronos. The guys around Kronos are all powerful masters with weird abilities. It's hard to tell how this battlefield will go. Shanks analyzes very objectively. He clearly understood the entire process of the outbreak of the battlefield. Without the presence of Kronos, the Whitebeard pirates, including Whitebeard himself, would most likely die at naval headquarters. It was because of Kronos' turbulence that Whitebeard was able to get out of the water, no doubt about it. If it was Shanks, he would definitely not go to war with Kronos under such conditions. Point 0. One more thing to know, the Kamui pirates of Kronos have just defeated the Don Quixote family and captured Dressrosa. Advertisement. I can't believe that Kronos' team is so strong that after finishing the battle against Doflamingo, they dare to accept Whitebeard's challenge. Beckman has measured Doflamingo's family strength from the perspective of a strong team. If the Redheads and the Don Quixote family go to war, there is no guarantee that they will continue to start the next war without any damage. Doflamingo is indeed a good opponent. It seems that the strength of the Kamui pirates may really change the situation in New World. Shanks, what are we going to do? Do we want to take a look at 0.0? Is there a chance for us to shoot? Lackey took the drumstick and asked Shanks what he meant. The core of their team must still be Shanks. How to act depends on Shanks' opinions. During the Summit War, they had already waded through muddy waters, and this time they didn't know if Shanks had any plans. Advertisement. 214 Do it yourself. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Forget it. I won't get involved this time. What Whitebeard wants to do is up to him. 1 inch. This time the target is not the naval headquarters, rather than mixing the two forces. Let's see how the naval headquarters will act. Shanks directly talked about the important point, which was also ignored by everyone. When he was on the battlefield, Kronos' actions slapped naval headquarters in the face in front of the world's live broadcast. This time Whitebeard pulls 30 to open the camp to fight against Kronos, and naval headquarters is likely to join in and reap the benefits of the fishermen. It is hard to imagine that Marshal Sengoku will sit idly by and ignore the battle between the two sides. He will definitely choose a group of elite or even top-level combat power to join the battle again. Advertisement. So we're going to block naval headquarters actions. Ha ha ha. Boss, you really are looking for a mission for us. The last time I didn't play against Marines people for too long, it's not impossible to act this time, just exercise. Okay. Let's take a shot, and I'm bored staying here anyway, why don't you go out and take a look? That's right, boss, it's up to you. It's up to you to decide. Anyway, we will definitely follow your actions. Everyone looked at Shanks, and all of them were sure of their thoughts. Anyway, they were idle, so they might as well find some strong opponents to let everyone play. Shanks showed a surprised look, looked at the crowd and said, "You guys are really capable of tossing. Ha ha ha, is it okay to have a good time? Let's take a good rest, wait and see what happens next, we'll just let it go this time." Advertisement. It's not that Shanks doesn't want to take care of it, it's that Shanks doesn't want to see his subordinates have an accident. On the other side, on the Cake Island where the ant is located, after receiving the news, many children and cadres gathered together. La 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 la, Whitebeard is indeed Whitebeard, yet he dares to take Kronos territory. This old thing should really die in naval headquarters. This time against Kronos, I wonder if he can die. After the ant saw the news, she was very excited, and she had already seen her bright future. The appearance of a Kronos fifth emperor group originally made the ant very upset, and she didn't know what opportunity to find a chance to attack Kronos. Now Whitebeard's bold actions have allowed Auntie to solve a lot of problems. Advertisement. Mom, do you think we should take the opportunity to raid Whitebeard's lair this time? Our Kronos turf. That kid Kronos just scored 887 Dressrosa, Shichibukai Doflamingo is down, and there is no place for him in the future. Katakuri asked the ant's meaning and wanted to see what she was going to do. In short, she couldn't just sit back and ignore it, and she had to take action. As for which side to attack, you still need to see how the ant decides, and everything needs to follow her command. Dressrosa is not bad, but Whitebeard's Honeycomb Island is even more attractive. I've long wanted to kill Whitebeard and take over there, but never had the right opportunity. Advertisement. 215 I can't care. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. This kid Kronos is really good, perfect for me to create this opportunity. Immediately anxious people, Katakuri. Although Katakuri is not the eldest son, but his strength has been continuously improved over the years, and he has become the first minister by the ant's side. As the eldest son, Perospero also performed his eldest brother's duties very well, and would not compete with his younger brother at all. Yes, Mom, I'm going to act now. What about Kaido's side? I said before that I want to cooperate. Do I need to inform you this time? Katakuri is not without importance. First ask the ant's attitude. The mutual cooperation between the four emperors is nothing but a relationship of interests and constraints. The relationship between Ant and Kaido was very strong before, and they used to be strong from the same pirate group. Even Kaido's blue dragon fruit was given to him by his aunt, so that he could become the king of beasts and summon so many strong men to become four emperors. Advertisement. Whether or not to join forces with Kaido this time remains to be seen. Ant fell into silence for a while, thinking about the relationship between the pros and cons. Mom, I don't think it's necessary at all, right? Are we not strong enough to snatch Honeycomb Island? Smoothie said actively. As the Minister of Juice and a member of the Desert 4 Stars, Smoothie has always been very smart and rational. This time, seeing such a big cake in front of her eyes, how could she be willing to persuade Andy to share a piece of the pie with others? It is the best choice to take one's own side, and the others will disperse their own interests. Well, la la la, that's right, Smoothie's idea is exactly what I want, no need to inform that old ghost Kaido. Advertisement. We did it ourselves, grabbed the Honeycomb Island directly, and all our sons and daughters took action. This time is very important to us. The ant said it seriously, showing a very concerned look. Once involved, it can be said that there is no way to cancel this action, and it must continue until the final result. Yes, Mom, let's all act together, leave the matter of gathering the troops to me, and leave the matter of preparing the ship to you. On Kaido's Oni Island, not only the three major disasters have been called to the side, but even the collaborating Kurozumi Orochi, the general of Wanokuni, also came to the scene. Everyone saw the news in the newspapers and knew that Whitebeard and Kronos would definitely have a fight. The situation of New World is likely to change because of this war. No one will be spared in this battle, and the forces of either side will be prepared. Advertisement. Is there any movement from Kronos? Is the ship still in Dressrosa? This stinky bastard actually killed that idiot Doflamingo. Kaido angrily smashed the wine barrel beside him. Doflamingo has always been his partner in New World, although Kaido doesn't take him, Qian Jiao, seriously. But his existence really facilitated Kaido's actions. Unexpectedly, in Kaido's eyes, a good partner was solved so easily by Kronos. After receiving the news, Kaido wanted to act at the first time, and attacked Kronos. All their partners have been overturned by Kronos, how could Kaido watch as if nothing happened? Advertisement. 216 Move faster. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. What he didn't expect was that Whitebeard was faster than him. Almost at the same time that Kronos took on Dressrosa, he took action on Kronos' turf. As a result, the situation became more chaotic. Boss Kaido, now that Kronos has attacked Dressrosa, shall we go and get Dressrosa back first? There's still no news from Auntie. We didn't discuss that we should deal with Whitebeard together. Why is there no news now? Jin analyzed and said, and directly touched on the important thing. Before discussing the action, there is no movement now, it can only mean that there is a problem. Ant's actions are related to the interests of Kaido Group 887. It is hard to say that the team that gave up Ant is not concerned, and Kaido acts alone. Advertisement. Linlin seems to be planning to abandon the alliance with us and prepare to seize Whitebeard's territory by himself. Right now, Kronos doesn't have much territory, and if we attack Dressrosa, it might give Linlin a chance to take down Honeycomb Island. 1. Do you want to see that Linlin is bigger than ours? How much treasure is in Honeycomb Island, and what does it represent, do you understand? Kaido's tone was very serious. This is no longer a simple relationship between him and Kronos, and there are more interests involved. As the leader of the Beast's pirates, he naturally thinks more and cares more about the interests of his team than anyone else. Boss Kaido is right, Jin, we can't lose to those guys from Big Mom. Quinn squeezed his mechanical arm, expressing his heart. There have been many disputes with the Big Mom pirates before. I have to say that the combatants of the Big Mom pirates are quite good, and Quinn didn't get any benefits. Advertisement. Now there is a chance to pull a game back in the hands of Big Mom. Of course, let go of the problems with Kronos first. In short, there is no direct conflict between Kaido and Kronos other than the relationship between Doflamingo. So, leaving this question aside, there is really no DAAA necessary to pull the opposite now. It's all listening to the big brothers, I just need to fight. I will not lose in fights, I will definitely give my best. Jack expressed his intentions directly. He is not an intelligent leader, but in terms of combat effectiveness, there is indeed no problem. That's all right, let's gather your people and see where Whitebeard is. If it's on Honeycomb Island, we'll all gather on Honeycomb Island. New World is not naval headquarters, Marine's people won't come too many, they can't organize this battle, let's fight with Linlin. Advertisement. Kaido stood up, Haki said forcefully. The roaring gust of wind swept across the scene directly, causing many of the younger brothers to fall to the ground. The real powerhouse is full of powerful aura. Boss Kaido is mighty. Take down Honeycomb Island and kill Whitebeard. Kill the old man Whitebeard. We Beast's pirates are the first pirates. That's right, Kaido boss is the best. Many pirate younger brothers surrounded Kaido and expressed their admiration. As the three major disasters under Kaido's command, he immediately began to spread his own arrangements. Advertisement. 217 coming soon. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The turmoil that a war is coming has swept the entire New World. After Naval Headquarters received the information, there was naturally a heated discussion about the war. In the meeting room of Marshal Sengoku, many senior members of the Naval Headquarters have gathered. It has been a long time since the last direct live broadcast failed. Even, Sengoku felt that his mistake made the pirate Kronos take advantage of the loophole, and he has been blaming himself all the time. 3 times have already proposed to resign from the post of Marine Marshal of the headquarters. However, the 5 elders did not agree with Sengoku's proposal at all, and left him as Marshal Marine. After learning that Whitebeard and Kronos were at war, Sengoku's spirit rose again. Having lost once in the hands of 2 pirate groups, this chance is Naval Headquarters' best chance to save face. Advertisement. During the Summit War, the 2 were connected to destroy the Naval Headquarters, and although there was a small exchange of fire, there was no direct conflict. Today's situation is different. The two sides have directly opened up the opposite sides, and they have to start the most direct battle. Everyone is here, Marshal Sengoku, to start today's meeting. Akainu said actively to Sengoku after seeing everyone seated. When Sengoku proposed to resign from the position of Marshal, Akainu also felt that he had the opportunity to turn over and become a candidate for Marshal directly. Unexpectedly, the five elders would not agree with Sengoku's proposal, causing him to participate in this meeting as admiral now. Akainu has always insisted on what he calls justice, and once he takes over as marshal, naval headquarters is bound to undergo a stylistic shift. It's a pity that such an opportunity was not given to Akainu, and now he can only continue to hold back and do what he should do. Advertisement. Okay. Since everyone has arrived, I think they all know the information collected recently. I didn't expect that Whitebeard would dare to fight against Kronos so strongly, and I thought that after the battle at naval headquarters, Whitebeard would stop for a while. But since they made such a choice, they have virtually given us a good opportunity. This time we are going to reverse the previous defeat. Sengoku patted the table angrily, showing how bad his mood was. 0 for flowers 00. The amount of criticism that Summit War has brought to naval headquarters from the outside world, as Marine Commander, is very clear in their hearts. Sengoku has always suppressed the anger in his heart, and insisted on his position. If it weren't for the turning point now, Sengoku would probably have resigned for the 4th time, not wanting to stay in the position of marshal. Advertisement. According to the information brought by the five elders, the battle between Kronos and Whitebeard will definitely result in great losses for both sides. The rise of Kronos is a big challenge for naval headquarters combat power, and finding an opportunity to solve Kronos is what Sengoku really cares about. Now that the chance finally came, Sengoku got his spirits up. Marshal Sengoku, how much do you think we will send to participate in this battle? When is the best time to shoot? Wait until the battle between them is over. Aokiji raises his own questions, which are also key to consider. If it is too early or too late, it is very likely that the goal will not be achieved. Advertisement. 218 lively discussions. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It is necessary to choose the right and appropriate time to shoot, and it is possible to get the most ideal battle. I think it's good to directly form a third-party force and join them in this battle. Let the world know that this time, when we face two big pirate groups, it is impossible to give in. Akainu spoke directly, the anger that could not be suppressed in his heart. During the battle at naval headquarters, 887, he also felt that Whitebeard would definitely go back and forth, and did not consider the changes in the situation that would be affected by the Kamui pirates. Advertisement. The combat power of Kronos has far exceeded their expectations for other pirates and has become the most powerful enemy ever. Directly becoming a third-party fighting force. Then the number of casualties will continue to increase. Having experienced the previous war, I do not recommend this method of action. Aokiji stood in Marine's position and put forward his own thoughts in consideration of the feelings of the soldiers. Kuzan, what are you talking about? Pay attention to your position. Don't forget that you are a Marine Admiral. Are you ready to condone the pirates of Kronos? If you were afraid of death after the previous failure, what kind of Marine is there? As a Marine, you must have the mentality not to be afraid of death. Akainu expresses his emotions to the extreme, and does not look down on Aokiji's approach at all. Okay, stop arguing. I don't think there's anything wrong with what Kuzan said. Marine can't stand the toss now. Sengoku's opening interrupted the two's argument. Advertisement. Hearing Sengoku's statement, Akainu's expression became even more ugly, and he couldn't agree with Sengoku at all. Long before the Summit War, Akainu had proposed attacking Whitebeard indiscriminately from all directions, keeping them from getting close to naval headquarters. However, Marshal Sengoku did not listen to Akainu's opinion, which led to the fact that during the Summit War, the fighting power of both sides was directly full, and there was no chance to shoot. Now Akainu once again proposed the idea of a head-to-head duel, but was still suppressed by Sengoku. Marshal Sengoku, what are your thoughts? Are you prepared to win just like last time? Akainu gave Sengoku no face at all, and asked what he was going to do. Akainu, pay attention to the way you speak. The current marshal is still Sengoku, not you. Staff Officer Crane held his chin and stared at Akainu with cold eyes. Of course she knew what Akainu was thinking. She made such remarks again and again, which made Staff Officer Crane very uncomfortable. Advertisement. What Sengoku will do, he will naturally have his thoughts in his mind, just need to listen patiently. Akainu dared to fight against Sengoku, but he didn't dare to say anything to the think tank, Staff Crane. In the future, even if he becomes a marshal and can replace Sengoku's role, he will not be able to replace Crane's staff. Now I still need to give Zuhei's staff a good face, so that I can go more smoothly in the future. Marine's new force has not been cultivated so fast at present. If we continue to fight 0.0 on a large scale, it will only add more young lives to the battlefield. I can't bet on the future of naval headquarters to participate in such a battle. At least for now, our strength can still restrict the pirates. 1. According to what I have received, this is not only a duel between the two Five Emperors groups, Kronos and Whitebeard, but the other three groups will be involved. Advertisement. 219 Next deployment. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Do you think Kaido, Redhead, Big Mom would just sit back and ignore us if we showed up on the battlefield? 1. Sengoku looked at Akainu with dignity and answered Akainu's questioning about himself. Akainu really didn't think about it that much, and now I don't know how to reply when I hear Sengoku say it. He could only sit in the position unwillingly, put his hands in front of him, and wait for Sengoku's next deployment. In the long run, Sengoku is always more comprehensive than Akainu. Akainu was only attacking the pirates, not thinking about the future of the naval headquarters soldiers. When Sengoku resigned, he also recommended Aokiji as the next marine. Instead, he did not recommend Akainu to take this position, just worried about the 30 points, and worried that his ability would make naval headquarters even more chaotic. My idea is that each of the three admirals will lead 4 vice-admiral from the headquarters, and they will not participate in the battle from long distances in 3 directions. Advertisement. If attacked by Kronos or Whitebeards, the strength is strong enough to resist and retreat. When the melee occurs, pay attention to the position of the backup on both sides and cut off their contact with the outside world. What Sengoku said is very reasonable, cutting off their contact with the outside world and only being able to duel internally. Even the combat troops of Kaido or Anti would not be involved in a direct duel between the two of them. They all just want to benefit from the chaos, and will not support any party in their actions. Well, I think this way is the best choice for us at the moment, Sengoku, I support your decision. 1. Garp nodded in agreement. As long as they are within the encirclement, no matter who wins or loses, the final result is that they cannot escape Marine's capture. Garp Vice Admiral, do you want to participate in this operation? The last time you wanted to kill 2 grandsons, I heard that you fought with Marshal Sengoku for 3 days. 1. Advertisement. Kizaru looked at Garp in astonishment, not expecting him to attend this meeting and agreeing with Sengoku's approach. Stinky boy, do you think I'm going to turn against Sengoku over this? My grandchildren are pirates, and I can catch them as well, but they ran away last time. Garp said it easily, but he didn't think so in his heart. The last time Ace and Luffy got away, Kronos did a good job in a way. It made Garp's heart a lot more relaxed, but he couldn't show it, so he quarreled with Sengoku for 3 days, which gave Sengoku a headache every day. Now that Garp said that, it made Sengoku look contemptuous. Are you ready to take part in action without involving your own grandson? Ace is still on Whitebeard's team, and it's very likely that he will be caught this time. Advertisement. Sengoku reminded Garp, and also made him recognize his position 887. So what if you catch it? This kid deserves the path he chose. Garp buttoned his nose, still not taking this incident as a tricky incident. Okay, the two of you don't quarrel now, since Garp wants to get involved, I'll act with him. Staff Officer Crane said with a cold face. Obviously, she doesn't trust Garp's state either, and she's part of it to see if Garp will do anything out of the ordinary. Garp was thinking about it in private, and of course he knew what Staff Crane meant. It's just that he doesn't dare to say anything now, he can only let Staff Officer he do what he thinks. Advertisement. 220 can hold Garp. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Anyway, the opponent is Kronos, I don't have any opinion, it's up to you Sengoku. Garp shrugged and said nonchalantly. In fact, His heart had already begun to worry about his actions. With Staff Officer He by his side, he still doesn't know how many restrictions he will be subject to, and the actions of each other will be restricted. From a young age, Staff He has been such an existence, only she can suppress Garp. No matter how Garp chooses, it is impossible to fool around in front of Staff He. Okay. Since both of you are involved in this operation, just block the direction of Kronos' arrival and become a separate team. Garp and Crane's staff are two major forces, completely independent of the three Admiral. Since choosing to be surrounded by multiple people, it is naturally a good thing that Garp can join in, and he can definitely fight on his own. Advertisement. There are too many strong men under Kronos, and I don't know what the result will be when dealing with the Whitebeard pirates. In terms of numbers alone, of course, the Whitebeard pirates have a lot of people, but a lot of people doesn't mean that they will be able to win. Naval Headquarters has deeply felt this situation, otherwise it would not have been the same in the previous Summit War. Understood. I will never let a person run away. Those guys in Kronos' pirate group let out an existence that is all for the disaster. Kronos became the fifth emperor, and I don't know how long it took Marine a headache. Everyone hopes that this action will greatly dampen Kronos' spirit and make his subordinates lose a few more admiral members. This is the most correct approach. Marshal Sengoku, if you encounter someone from Kronos, do you want to take action? Our strategy of siege is to avoid conflict, right? Advertisement. Kizaru asked what Sengoku meant and asked the question everyone wanted to ask. In real combat, once a conflict occurs, it is likely to go to war directly. Sengoku's siege strategy looks flawless, but it's all based on the fact that Whitebeard and Kronos will actually go to war. During Summit War, the two sides joined forces to smash Marine's plans. Now that the battle is so fast, even the five elders can't figure out whether it is a deliberate trap. I have discussed in detail with my five superiors, and Whitebeard's character is so tough that there will be no traps. 1. He's a man who wants a face. He must really plan to fight Kronos, and wants to declare himself the strongest man in the world. 1. From what I know about Whitebeard, that shouldn't put me wrong. Advertisement. Sengoku is talking about his own long-term experience and judgment, and he does not feel that he has made a mistake in his judgment. I have the same idea as Sengoku. The Whitebeard back then didn't play tricks, and the same goes for the Whitebeard now. Otherwise how could he, Chanos, make such a big noise to rescue his squad leader Ace? The Crane staff followed the analysis and said. After speaking, Staff Crane did not forget to look at Garp, wanting to see what Garp looked like. When he caught Ace, Garp didn't know how uncomfortable it was. He almost didn't kill Blackbeard Teach himself, and wanted to settle accounts with him. If it wasn't for knowing that he was Marine and what he had to do as Marine, he couldn't hold back his anger at all. Advertisement. 221 Thinking Skills. Previous chapter. Advertisement. Sengoku continued what he just said. So if you meet someone from Kronos, you can choose to avoid it depending on the situation, without having a head-on conflict. Whitebeard's people will deal with him. We don't need us to do anything more, just keep our strength. The more chaotic times, the more need to maintain calm thinking ability. Whether it's a pirate or a marine, this kind of reaction is required. I've already said what I need to say, and I'll have to work hard for everyone next. 1. 3 Admiral and Garp Vice Admiral and Staff Crane, you stay a little longer, I have some deployments to tell you. 1. We've already lost once and we can't lose this time again. Advertisement. As Sengoku said, this is their only chance to prove themselves. After talking about the specific deployment, the Marine parties dispersed and started the next preparations. For such a big event, the phalanx and strategy of action must be prepared in advance. If it is prepared at the time, it must be too late. At the port of Dressrosa, the Angel of Redemption has prepared all the equipment and supplies. This time out is a long journey, and I don't know when I will be able to return, so I must be fully prepared and make sure, the condition of Dressrosa. On the deck, Gojo Satoru and Jikuni Yuichi had settled all the supplies and shouted to the connecting platform on the deck. Captain, we are all ready, should we go now? The wind and heading are all normal. For each voyage, the main preparation is to follow the country's fate. He was far more alert than Kronos, but Kronos seemed very sloppy. Advertisement. Since he said that everything is ready, it must be enough to support the long-term voyage. Kronos came to the connecting stage and looked back at the Dressrosa royal family headed by King Riku. These people are the people who he rescued not long ago, and looking at their performance, they know that they will be absolutely loyal to themselves. The country of Dressrosa, which has been sinking for many years, is Kronos who made them truly reborn. Captain Kronos, this time the opponent is heard to be Whitebeard, be careful. No matter which force comes to suppress it, I will definitely keep the promise between us, Dressrosa will always be your territory. King Riku spoke solemnly, expressing his firm will. Then it's hard for you to protect this land, King Riku. The fight with Whitebeard will be over soon, and we'll continue drinking when I get back. Advertisement. Kronos waved his hand and came directly to the deck. After Guoyueni slowly put away the connecting station, the Angel of Redemption gradually left the port. Half an hour later, the fruit and juice were brought to Kronos, and Conan sat next to Kronos. Captain, this is the latest paper for today. Marine has taken action, do you want to see it? Conan had read the paper and felt the need to let Kronos see it for himself. Kronos picked up the juice, picked up the newspaper by the way, and read the contents on it boredly. Marine's coverage of the impending battle between Kronos and Whitebeard is overwhelming. He also said righteously that he would send Marine's personnel to prevent this war from happening. Advertisement. 222 doing it first. Advertisement. The events of the last naval headquarters are still vivid, and now it is so high profile that they are going to join the fight. This was interesting to Kronos, who knew exactly what Sengoku had in mind. Ha ha ha, it seems that the old Marshal Sengoku is going to gamble again, and he dares to report to the world, which is enough to explain the problem. The people from naval headquarters will not join the fight. They only dare to stir up the water. They want to see me and Whitebeard lose both, and they will come back to take advantage of the fishermen. Kronos' analysis is very accurate. After all, if it is himself, he will also take such an approach. On the surface, it represents justice, but in fact, it is unscrupulous to root out the disobedient. Hee, these Marines are no different from sanctimonious ninjas. Captain, shall we fight off these Marines before we fight Whitebeard? Advertisement. Conan hated such sane people and wanted to do something with them first. Kronos waved his hand and said, no, they don't dare to join the fight, that's exactly what I want to see, just let them watch. It's nothing more than preparing to intercept us and want to wipe us out after our two sides fight. This way doesn't mean anything to us, just focus on dealing with Whitebeard. When Whitebeard dared to attack Kronos' turf, it was like a Kronos demonstration. If you don't reply, it's just showing weakness. How could Kronos show weakness? As long as it's an enemy, it's fine to kill them all, isn't it the opponents from last time? I alone can take care of the so-called righteous guys and show them what's really scary. Uchiha Madara heard Kronos' words and said without caring. Advertisement. During the naval headquarters battle, Uchiha Madara performed very well alone, and the bounty was more than that of many big pirates. Do you want to fight so much? When the Whitebeard pirates fight, how about the captain of their first team? That guy is a so-called phoenix, no matter how he fights, immune to death, his ability is very powerful. Kronos deliberately provoked Uchiha Madara. Allowing him to fully play is what the team wants to see most. 0 for flowers 00. Phoenix. No matter what kind of guy, it is impossible to live in my hands. The last time was just a mistake, I will not give anyone another chance to live. Uchiha Madara answered Kronos coldly. Advertisement. The last time his opponent was Akainu, it was the first time in this world that he had encountered an opponent like Akainu as Logia. 0. Therefore, I was caught off guard by Akainu's Logia elementalization, and finally failed to kill Akainu. Uchiha Madara is very demanding for his own combat, and he was very embarrassed for not being able to help Kronos to eliminate his opponent. When dealing with the Don Quixote family, he did his best and did not leave any chance for his opponent. You don't need to be so angry, this sea is not just about fighting and killing, there are many things that can be done. For example, it would be nice to sit down and have a glass of juice and enjoy the sea breeze. Kronos picked up another glass of juice and sent it directly to Uchiha Madara, trying to make him relax. Advertisement. 223 Crossing the Waves. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Uchiha Madara has always maintained a cold attitude towards others, but who is the captain and who is his leader, Uchiha Madara is very clear. Thanks, Captain. I don't really like drinking. Uchiha Madara replied, bowing to Kronos by the way. Gojo Satoru came to him and said with a smile, don't be so restrained. Captain, he doesn't want me to drink. How can I not drink some 890 juice in such a hot sea? Thank you, Captain. Gojo Satoru's character is very bright, and he doesn't pretend to be the leader of Kronos at all. Captain, after this fight, can we go to an interesting place and have a good time for 2 months? I feel like I've been fighting and killing recently, and I'm not idle at all. Advertisement. I really want to find a cool place to play and ease our nervousness. Gojo Satoru shrugged his shoulders, expressing his thoughts. Everyone in the team is from a different world, and everyone has different ideas and personalities. It was also embarrassing that Kronos was able to unite everyone, and there was no conflict. Okay, I promise to take you to an interesting place after this time, and then we will all have fun together for a while. After the Summit War, our reputation has already started, and this time we won't need to fight another big battle after killing Whitebeard. Kronos agreed with Gojo Satoru's idea. After all, Gojo Satoru said nothing wrong. Since the formation of the team, there has been no opportunity for team building. After a battle is over, team building is particularly important. Advertisement. Coming from modern times, the way Kronos manages the team is very special. Captain, there are huge waves on the sea, we need to bypass a section of the route, and it is estimated that it may take 5 days to reach the Honeycomb Island. 1. If you are in a hurry, you may need to go directly through the huge waves. I wonder if our ship can withstand it after it is reinforced. Ji Guoyueni ran out of the cabin and asked Kronos what he thought to see how to decide. So many people can't stop us, it's just a wave, there's no need to change our course. Everyone comes to the deck to see how well it can handle the huge waves. There will be no problem with the Angel of Redemption. I'm worried that you have problems. Kronos' playfulness was brought up. There are many ways to train a team, and he chooses a shocking one every time. Tisk tisk tisk, Captain, you want to play so much again, I'll tell everyone to come out, of course surfing is the coolest. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru's playfulness was also driven. He didn't like the bitter battle, but the captain's orders had to be obeyed. Now the interesting things are in front of us, and there is nothing else to say, of course, everyone is called to come together. Yes, Captain, I did as you said and continued on without changing course. I will temporarily put away the sails of the Angel of Redemption 0.0, ready to start sailing at full speed. Ji Guiwan calmly returned to the cockpit and was fully prepared to cross the huge waves. Under the greeting of Gojo Satoru, everyone in the team also came to the deck one after another. Everyone just heard that Kronos was going to make a game. Gojo Satoru didn't say it, and what game he was going to do would have to wait for the captain to announce it himself. Advertisement. 224 tests from nature. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Seeing that everyone had arrived, Kronos announced something with a smile. Next, we're going through the waves at full speed. So, you have to be mentally prepared and don't fall off the boat. The powerhouses present can be said to have their own abilities and extraordinary skills. The mere huge waves may indeed be nothing in their eyes. Like the opponents they had encountered on the battlefield before, this impending natural hazard was nothing short of pediatric. Big waves. Haha, I've never had 30 in sight. Madara snorted coldly, showing no intention at all. I thought it was something, but it turned out to be just like this. Bang Ji-yu picked his nose, and like everyone else, he didn't take this matter to heart. Ji Guiwan said lightly, you may have one thing that you don't know, that is, this is by no means an ordinary natural hazard. What we will face next is a super wave that is rare to see in 10 years. Advertisement. Even though everyone listened to these words seriously, they were still as big-hearted as ever, and they didn't think it would be dangerous to them. Pain said calmly, with my ability, this wave can be smoothed out. But some people were more or less panicked at this time. This, of course it can't be difficult for me. They're not fools, so why can't they guess that Kronos is testing them? It seemed that everyone would have such a reaction, so Kronos continued to smile and said, I know everyone is very capable, so I am here to make it difficult for you. Kronos asked. Well, are you afraid? Laugh out loud. This is a trivial matter for me. One of the trainee crew members was even more decisive to express his determination. When the huge wave really hits, no matter who it is, they have to stay on the spot and can't make any movement. Is there any problem? Advertisement. Say it without exaggeration. How about it? Do you want me to do it myself? Huh. Huh. Several trainee crew members, 890, were sweating profusely. Is this really going to be the case? This area of waves. He gritted his teeth suddenly and made up his mind. As soon as these words came out, everyone's eyes lit up, and Chi-Chi felt that this method was very good. And originally, they had some intention of retreating, but after he came into contact with the firm eyes of his own captain. Fine. Even if the volcano erupted, I wouldn't be nervous, let alone the waves. Starting a long time ago, Pain's ninjutsu has reached a level of perfection, not to mention whether it can calm the coming huge wave, maybe even create a larger wave out of thin air. Advertisement. I'm not afraid at all. Most of the people present thought so. They all had absolute confidence in their own strength and could rule out the upcoming difficulties. The wind blows. These words are not only speaking to everyone, but also speaking to myself, so that I don't have to be so flustered. Naturally, the trainee crew. Gojo Satoru also smiled and said. Suddenly, do not worry. What followed closely was the roar of the sea. How can you hurt a single hair on me? Uchiha Madara Akimbo. Pains does have that ability. Advertisement. 225 safe and sound standing on the board. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. A once-in-a-decade wave. It's officially here. Rain. Getting bigger and bigger. Above the air. Thunder is flashing every now and then. If a normal person encounters such a catastrophe, their legs may have been trembling with fright, and they don't know what to do. But a member of the Kamui pirates. Without exception. They are the strongest among the strong. Previously. People who look down on the Kamui pirates will not end well without exception. Or get beaten to death. Advertisement. Or, just be sent to hell like this, and fully understand their own life. Therefore, in the eyes of the world, anyone who can stay in the Kamui pirates for a while is not a simple thing. Even for the trainee crew, he is a complete powerhouse. In the new world, it is definitely not the existence of any trash. Thinking about it carefully, in the previous Summit War, the two transcendent existences of Marine and Whitebeard pirates could not help Kamui pirates. Instead, he was defeated by the Kamui pirates. Just from this battle, it is enough to let the world know what a group of terrifying lunatics the Kamui pirates are. It's just such a group of outrageous guys, how can the waves bring trouble to them? Susanoo. Uchiha Madara leaned against the wall and whispered. Next moment, a huge phantom appeared from midair. A figure even more terrifying than a giant, he stretched out a palm in a blink of an eye, blocking the waves that came upon him. Others also took action. Advertisement. That's really interesting. It seemed that Wujo Satoru didn't do anything, as if he didn't activate any abilities, but when the incomparably huge seawater rushed towards him, it disappeared out of thin air in an instant. People who are not familiar with Gojo Satoru's ability will definitely be frightened and dumbfounded when they see such a thing. But everyone present knew what was going on. Don't look at Wujo Satoru standing there, as if nothing was done. But in fact, he has secretly activated his own special ability. Artoria suddenly raised her head, clenched the invisible sword tightly, and slashed a huge sword energy towards the distance. Swish. The sea level in the distance was directly cut out of a ravine in the sky. Such sights. It is enough to prove how powerful Artoria's swordsmanship is. Pain did not rush to deal with the waves, but instead changed the target to the sky. The sound of lightning is really annoying. Advertisement. Disappear. I saw Pain wave his hand. The thunderbolt that was still high in the sky disappeared instantly. Disappeared completely. The young people today are really amazing. My old bone may be behind. Bang Ji-yu is different from everyone else. He really didn't use any ability, just relying on his own physical skills to stand firm. Maybe this will be a huge hassle for some people. However, Bangu doesn't think so. Instead, things like this will help him become stronger and bring new changes to his Qian Nuo's strength. If a person wants to become stronger, it is impossible to usher in real strength without encountering some obstacles. The reason why Bangu is so powerful is not because of how good his talent is, but because he has accumulated a lot of actual combat and finds his own shortcomings through every battle. Make yourself stronger and stronger. There is no doubt that this time Kronos ordeal, Bangu has become a battle. A battle between man and nature. Advertisement. 226 A little accident. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Who is the most calm person right now? It must be Kronos as the captain. Kronos even yawned, feeling a little sleepy, couldn't help complaining, and said, "Okay, why did this happen? I really can't sleep." Then, Kronos found that the trainee crew members in the distance were struggling to support him. He couldn't help but be overjoyed. He said, "It seems that you haven't mastered your kung fu at home, and you are still a long way from becoming a full-time crew member." 1. After hearing this, the trainee crew members became more fighting spirit, and they were about to resolve this crisis. Surprisingly, this time the huge wave hit only lasted for a few minutes. Or maybe Pain and others went too far, so that the rare 893 extreme weather was brought under control. After all, some crew members used sword energy, some directly obliterated the lightning in the sky, and some people have used magic to make the seawater evaporate in place. Advertisement. And this series of actions will undoubtedly accelerate the process of the huge waves disappearing. As for the Angel of Redemption, there was nothing at all. However, there was a small accident that Kronos himself did not expect. Because of the huge waves, caused the voyage to be a bit off. Ji Guoyuani said helplessly. This is also something that can't be helped. After all, in the circumstances at that time, I feel that it is not easy for this ship to be unscathed. Kronos didn't take it to heart, and smiled. Isn't it just a few more hours of delay? It doesn't matter, I have a lot of time anyway. Albedo was a little worried about the reaction of the Whitebeard pirates, frowned, and said, I don't know if this is delayed for a few hours, will Whitebeard prepare more troops to deal with us? If that's the case, then we're probably going to be wasting a lot of time. Advertisement. Albedo didn't think that the Kamui pirates would be able to beat others, but thought it was a pointless waste of time. In addition, she herself really treats Kronos as a god in her heart, and can't wait to handle everything, beauty. It is best that all things are in the plan of the reservation, which is naturally a better thing. It is precisely because of this way of thinking that Albedo is often positioned as a resourceful man on board, because her priority is not Kronos' interests. Once Kronos' interests were damaged, Albedo would feel that it was caused by her own incompetence. Uchiha Madara was still so arrogant, said coldly. Whitebeard. It's just an antique from a bygone era. Let him prepare more troops to go. That way, I'll be able to enjoy myself. Advertisement. I'm really afraid that he will temporarily avoid the edge and run away. If it is someone else. Here's what to say about Whitebeard. Most of the people in the world will subconsciously think that this person is a lunatic with a problem in his brain, and he looks down on Whitebeard so much. This is clearly courting death, isn't it? This man, Whitebeard, is not an ordinary man, but the #1 man in the world. This nickname is definitely not for nothing. There are many heroes and heroes who have left their own deeds and reputations on the sea, but most of them died young, and only those with real ability like Whitebeard often lived to the end. Advertisement. 227 The more enemies, the better. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Being able to stay in a place like New World for so long, and even control such a large area, is enough to prove how great Whitebeard is. But, Uchiha Madara is a man who is qualified to say so. Who made him so powerful? I hope there will be a few strong ones in the Whitebeard pirates. 1. Bang Ji-yu said with a smile. His old eyes had the same gleam of war intent as before. Don't look at Bangu's old age. His heart never grows old. Fighting against the strong is Bangu's obsession and his interest. Seeing that everyone was so excited, Kronos couldn't help laughing and joked. Maybe our opponent will not only be Whitebeard in the future, but also may encounter attacks from several imperial groups. Even if there is a possibility that the enemy will form a group, the crew did not take these enemies into their eyes. Advertisement. It's just that the trainee crew members were a little panicked. What does the captain mean by this? Is this giving them a shot in advance? Could it be that they will have to fight against several imperial groups at the same time soon? If so, do they really have a chance? The other party is O King of the Sea. Everyone present is already in a posture that they are ready to take action at any time. Paine also looked at this matter in the same way, and said lightly, I also think so. It is better that we start with the force first and let that group of people be completely wiped out here. 1. Most likely, it's the enemy. Captain, give the order to attack. Suddenly. Maybe it's our acquaintance. 0. Advertisement. None of the 4 emperors are vegetarians, and they are extremely powerful. Conan, who was on the side, didn't say anything, but she had already started to prepare for battle, and the paper house in her hand kept appearing beside her. One eye after another gathered on Kronos' body. Don't worry. This sudden sentence made the trainee crew almost pee. The crisis of the giant waves just passed, and they encountered the enemy again. It's just a small matter. However, it doesn't matter who it is, as long as the other party dares to appear here. It is obviously not a friend of our Kamui pirates. What kind of power are these people? They weren't in a hurry. They are waiting for an order. Because 0 for flowers 00. Even if Artoria didn't remind, a strong man like Uchiha Madara, almost at about the same time, noticed that a large number of unidentified ships were heading towards them. Advertisement. Or other forces. To deal with a group of trash with our ability is something that can be done casually. It's just that no one knows. Wuho Satoru was still in a nonchalant manner. He laughed and said, now things have become interesting. I really don't know what interesting things will happen next. Let's take a look first. Ahead, there are a large number of unidentified ships. But Kronos held the glass and spoke slowly. Albedo said coldly. Artoria seemed to sense something and said softly, I believe in 5 minutes, they will be able to meet completely. As long as Kronos gives an order, then Conan will deliver a fatal blow, making those who try to destroy their Kamui pirates pay the heaviest price. Whitebeard pirates. Those eyes seemed to say. Advertisement. 228 Charlotte family, coming. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. At this time, the Kamui pirates are about to encounter this group of unfortunate people, Charlotte's main army headed by Katakuri. They were ordered by the Ant and planned to go to Baituan's site to see if the fishermen could profit. Anyone can see that, sooner or later, the 2 sea emperors, Kronos and Whitebeard, will break out into a war. It's just a matter of time. There was a contradiction between the two. Coupled with the 8 and 9-3 battle, Whitebeard lost all face. As a veteran 4 emperors, how could Whitebeard just do nothing like this? They are all partners. Charlotte Linlin can't wait for the 2 of them to fight. Advertisement. When 2 tigers fight each other, one must perish. To put it nicely, he is a careerist who intends to monopolize the sea. Plus Charlotte Linlin herself knows what kind of person Whitebeard is. After all, everyone used to be a rocks pirate person. In addition, Kronos himself is not weak. His strength is completely enough to compare with Charlotte Linlin. 0.0 Katakuri really knows his mother too well. He doesn't know what kind of person this nurturing mother is. And Kronos, as if he didn't know it, kept provoking Whitebeard. What Charlotte Linlin doesn't know is that, as the commander of this operation, Katakuri himself is very disturbed, and even in his heart, he does not actually support this operation. Why not do it? But let the most capable Katakuri bring the main army to the Honeycomb Island and see if you can try your luck. Advertisement. They can take advantage of the fishermen. The result, of course, is to make the world's #1 man go wild, even to the extent that he will do anything at all. Thus, But what makes people feel helpless is that Katakuri realizes that even if he refuses, his mother will send others to carry out this plan. Really want this. Have known each other for decades. Later, the incident of the Fishmen Island being taken down made Whitebeard extremely angry and determined to fight Kronos. To put it mildly, it is clearly a person who does not hesitate to push his own children into the brazier in order to achieve his own goals, encountering an unprecedented crisis. But one thing that Katakuri has to admit is that whether it is Kronos himself or his Kamui pirates, they are a group of strong and outrageous existences. Charlotte Linlin gave the order not long ago. Advertisement. Just like Shanks, Whitebeard also has his own bottom line, which is not to allow others to take action on his crew. The Charlotte family will become the first pirate force, just around the corner. If he doesn't do anything, then Whitebeard isn't the #1 man in the world, he's just a coward. Once the prestige is gone, it will be a devastating blow to people's hearts. Katakuri knows that, among the Kamui pirates, there are a few strong men who are not inferior to Marine Admiral. For the benefit of the Charlotte family, Katakuri is of course unhappy with what Kronos has done over the years, and even really wished the latter was killed sooner. If a Sea Emperor wants to stand firm in this world, prestige is an indispensable thing. How could Charlotte Linlin not know what this old friend thinks? Again, how many people have gone to cannibalism and self-destruction just because their hearts are scattered? If the two emperors really want to fight, I don't know who will win in the end. Advertisement. 229 Katakuri, very disturbed. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. For the sake of his brothers and sisters, Katakuri only agreed to the matter, and personally directed the entire operation. Suddenly, there was a hurried voice, contemplating Katakuri's thoughts. Brother Katakuri, there seems to be an unknown ship ahead. 1. The Charlotte family's fierce man, Owen, put down the telescope and his expression became a little dignified. Another fierce general, Daifuku, didn't realize how serious the matter was, and said, "Isn't it just one ship? We have so many ships here, we can deal with them at will." Owen felt that this matter was definitely not easy. Now, because Kronos and Whitebeard are going to fight, there are no ships passing through the waters around 30. No matter how daring pirates are, they would not dare to approach this area. Unless you, like them, plan to intervene in this battle, you will come here. Maybe even a fool knows that he can't pass through this sea area at this moment. Because everyone knows what will happen next in the battle of the two emperors. If you get a little closer, your life will not be guaranteed, that's for sure. Advertisement. At this time, the butter minister seemed to have discovered something terrible and began to shiver. In the end, the intention in his heart reached its peak, making him unable to stabilize his figure any longer. Plop. Powerless to fall to the ground. ... Full of fear. The whole place was fried. In the past, they just wanted to pick up leaks, not to confront each other head on. Sounded one after another. All the clansmen including Katakuri panicked. Everyone was taken aback, and they didn't know what the Minister of Butter saw, so they panicked. The next thing the Butter Minister said, "Aren't we likely to meet the Kronos?" Advertisement. Katakuri no longer dared to think about it. Look carefully. Katakuri was rarely calm, and even his tone became hurried. No matter how dire the situation is. Panic sound. So what should I do now? Well, we're not going to die here, are we? Katakuri reacted quickly, picked up the binoculars, and checked for himself if it was the flag of the Kamui pirates. But now, what? Katakuri can calm down and handle one thing after another with an iron fist. That is to say, to be honest, I'm a little regretful now, maybe we shouldn't agree with my mother and come here like this. 1. Advertisement. If that's really the banner of the Kamui pirates. In the eyes of many clansmen, Katakuri has always been a very stable person. It is precisely because of this. Even in the eyes of Daifuku, Katakuri is obviously thinking too much, and they will definitely not encounter much trouble. Katakuri frowned and said, "What did you find? Tell me now." Won the trust of the whole family. This made everyone unbelievable. Is this really the big brother Katakuri who is always as stable as Mount Tai? Why does it look a little wrong? 893 inches. I hope it's just a fake from the Kamui pirates. I don't want to meet the real thing at this time. It's a force that even Marine can blow up head on. Many people's heads are blank. No way. Let them fight Kronos head on. Are they really going to meet Kronos himself? In his words, it was an overreaction. The flag of that ship seems to be the flag of the Kamui pirates. However, advertisement. 230 What? The enemy is Kronos. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. How could Katakuri still remain calm? Difficulty breathing. If it were other famous powerhouses, perhaps Katakuri didn't pay attention to it, unless such existences as Admiral and 4 Emperors could make him move. But the problem is, the other party is that Kronos. If only Kronos men came this time. It's not that I came here. Then there is the possibility of them fleeing. But if you say, the people who came were not just subordinates, and the words of Kronos himself, then they are really bad luck. Don't look at Katakori's expressionless look now. But the real thought in the heart is how to retreat. Advertisement. Even Katakori was moved and scared. Well, what about the other Charlotte people? Is there a royal group there? It's like a group of miscellaneous fish pirates who are about to meet the Sea Kings and are at a loss for a while. Even if it is Owen and Daifuku, whose nerves have always been strong. Also realized how bad the current situation is. One by one, they all scrambled to make suggestions. Brother Katakori, we can't go on like this, let's turn around quickly, otherwise we may really be wiped out. Yes, we have only this road left to go now, and if we don't go, it will be too late. Katakori nodded. At the beginning, playing against them is pointless, it's just a waste of time. Now, but they seem to have forgotten one thing. Since they can discover the existence of the Kamui pirates will naturally discover their existence. Several crew members wanted to take action. Advertisement. What's more, 2/3 of their Charlotte family's strength is still on Cake Island, and they did not go out with them. The most core fighting force, Charlotte Linlin, did not follow. Uchiha Madara said seriously. Katakori said here and did not continue. There must be no conflict with the Kamui pirates. Explain in advance, Qian Nuohao, I'm not going to shoot this time. 1. He can feel it. The crew on the ship waited with bated breath. So, Uchiha Madara was too lazy to do it, and even wanted to be lazy to sleep. But, moreover, the Kamui pirates were one step ahead of them and sensed the existence of each other. The order to retreat was immediately issued. Just when Katakori and the others decided to withdraw, they did not dare to conflict with the Kamui pirates. It is not only fun, but also an opportunity to make a contribution. Advertisement. That is to say, if something goes wrong with them next, it's really screwed. Even their greatest backer, Charlotte Linlin, couldn't save them in time. To everyone's surprise, that's what Katakori and the others are capable of. The Kamui pirates are powerful. The overall combat power is comparable to 3 pirate emperors, or even 4. But everyone understood what the other meant. This is for them. There is no one as powerful as Whitebeard. Uchiha Madara, who has always been a fighter, made a statement at this time. All retreat. The more Albedo thought about it, the more she wanted to make a move. Albedo really wants to rush over now and arrest all those who dare to offend their Kamui pirates. If not, for no other reason, because I don't think those guys would be my opponents. A group of bugs dare to go wild in front of us, who gave them the courage? Advertisement. 231 Gojo Satoru strikes again to play with the Charlotte family. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Everyone was obviously a little surprised by Uchiha Madara's unexpected statement. There was even one person who felt that Uchiha Madara did it this way, which was not his usual style. Who else could this person be? Of course Senju Hashirama, who has a deep relationship with Uchiha Madara. Senju Hashirama's eyes widened and he spoke in disbelief. Madara, this is not like you, aren't you a guy who wants to fight with others every day? Why don't you plan to take action at this time? 1. You're not a fake, are you? Uchiha Madara was so angry that he almost fought with Senju Hashirama like this. He didn't expect this old friend to hurt him so much and call him a fake. Isn't that scolding him for being incompetent, or a coward? Advertisement. Senju Hashirama. After Uchi 893 Madara shouted, he pulled up his sleeves and said, I think you are in need of a beating. If that's the case, then I'll clean you up. Senju Hashirama looked like he wasn't afraid of you. He also pulled up his sleeves and said with a smile, do you think I would be afraid of you? If you want to fight, fight, who is afraid of who? It is clear that the enemy is now, but this pair of old enemies are fighting each other, and they can't wait to have another showdown at this time. Kronos was dumbfounded, as though there was nothing he could do with the two of them. It has to be said that Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara are a pair of living DAAA treasures, arguing there every day, and they have to fight to the death. However, it is understandable if you think about it this way. After all, in the original world, the two of them were a pair of old enemies. Don't say it's a quarrel, it's possible to fight. What are you two doing? Even though the enemy is right in front of you, you are arguing at this time. Albedo got angry and scolded directly. Ilya and the others looked helpless, because they were used to it. That's how the two of them were, arguing there all day. Advertisement. There are fights almost all the time. Unlike Uchiha Madara, Gojo Satoru really wanted to make a move at this time. After scratching his head, he said to Kronos, "Captain, why don't I make a move? I really think those guys very funny." When he said the last sentence, the corner of Wuju's mouth raised slightly, with a playful look. Anyone who is familiar with Wujogo can probably guess what this person is thinking about. This obviously treats Katakuri and the others as toys. If Katakuri knew that Gojo Satoru looked down on them so much, God knows if he would have been pissed to death like this. Kronos pondered for a while, then nodded slightly. Okay, let's go. Advertisement. Just finished speaking. Swish, swish. The two figures have disappeared on the boat. A figure is naturally Wudiawu. Another figure is Pain. Kronos looked into the distance. With a playful smile. Just as Katakuri recognized their origins, in fact, from the very beginning, Kronos' observation Haki, who transcended everything, had already mastered Katakuri and their identities one step ahead of anyone. Not only do they know Katakuri and they are from the Charlotte family, but Kronos also knows that on the boat, there are some of the best heroes on the sea such as Katakuri. Advertisement. 232 Katakuri is a little flustered and feels that something is not right. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Kronos didn't care about the other Charlotte family members, but he was still very interested in Katakuri. Katakuri. Among the Charlotte family, the number 2 person. Someone said, he is only one step away from being the head of the family. There are even rumors that if Charlotte Linlin really dies one day, then Katakuri will be able to ascend at the speed of light and become the new head of the Charlotte family. Such rumors have been rumored for a long time, and when the Charlotte family knew about this rumor, instead of denying it, it was a tacit attitude. In other words, if Katakuri can be captured in this battle, it will be of great benefit to Kronos' future plans. All the time, Kronos is treating Charlotte Linlin like a confidant. Advertisement. Not only Charlotte Linlin himself, or the huge family behind her, whatever. They are all like thorns in the eyes. Have to remove. In other words, if the other party wanted to kill them, wouldn't they even be unable to react, so they were taken away inexplicably. The Charlotte family ship began to turn around. Although I don't know why the Charlotte family came to this area of water, Kronos can guess that these people's intentions are mostly bad. The biggest possibility is to take advantage of the fire, or to profit from the fishermen. In short, they will not come to discuss cooperation with their Kamui pirates. Even if it's only for a second, it's not good. I'm really afraid of being left in this kind of place forever, and then I can't leave if I want to. 0 for flowers 00. The Charlotte family can be frightened like this. Already appeared on one of the pirate ships. Why are they unaware of this? Advertisement. A clan member recognized the identity of the white-haired man. No one wants to stay here any longer. Hello everyone. Suddenly, they are panicking. Quick, quick. It can be seen from this. Increase the motor speed. So much so that after the people present quickly recognized Gojo Satoru, they all panicked, and an astonishing chill shot up on the toes. I remember. You are so anxious, are you planning to go there? Like a frightened wild horse, trying to escape from this area. Advertisement. A cold figure, I do not know when to start. Everyone was shocked. Who was this white-haired man, and when did he appear on their pirate ship? After all, the opponent's strength is there. It doesn't look like a waste, but a very strong powerhouse. If it was just a bastard who appeared in front of them like this, Charlotte's people who were present would have rushed over to take this person, and they would never have said so much and wasted so much time. Now that you know the other party's intentions are not good, then don't blame Kronos for being too heavy, who makes everyone not good friends. Gojo Satoru joined the Kamui pirates a long time ago. Basically, he made his name before the Summit War started. It can be said that he is one of the most famous people in the entire pirates. The clansmen were extremely panicked, and they all wanted to get out of here quickly. Suddenly, how powerful is the Kamui pirates? It's too late if you don't go. Isn't he the powerhouse of the Kamui pirates, Gojo Satoru? At the same time, the man was wearing a blindfold and had a smile on his face. Advertisement. 233 is the Kamui pirates. It's all over. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. But the opponent is Gojo Satoru, who injured the Marine Admirals in the Summit War. Marine Admiral is Marine's strongest fighting force, but Gojo Satoru was able to injure him, which shows how strong this man is. Even Gojo Satoru didn't do anything right now. Just put his hands in his pockets. There was no particularly strong aura from his body. But, I don't know why, when everyone saw this person's 897, they were inexplicably frightened. Not only the body is shaking, even the soul trembles with it. It seems that both body and mind are telling them at this time that this person in front of them is definitely not someone they can provoke. Advertisement. Why does this guy appear in front of us? When did he show up here? Strong. Really strong. Pirates are getting more and more panic. The two cadres, Owen and Daifuku, were a little panicked at first. But soon. Just relax. Do you dare to come here alone? Too arrogant. Owen radiated heat all over his body. Its momentum. Even more amazing. Advertisement. Anyone familiar with Owen can tell. He is angry. Going to kill Gojo Satoru. A brother with the same character as Owen, Daifuku became angry without exception, and immediately summoned his own demon, ready to fight. These two are the top-ranked powerhouses in the family, and they don't know how many powerful enemies have been eliminated for the family's sake over the years. In normal times, Charlotte Linlin is also very pleased because of their excellent performance, thinking that the two of them will become two swords to assist Katakuri in the near future. To allow a four emperors to give such a high evaluation, it can be seen how powerful Owen and Daifuku are. If it was really just a cat and a dog, I'm afraid that it would have been thrown out by a brutal ilk like Charlotte Linlin long ago. But, however, Katakuri's face changed greatly, preventing them from taking action, saying, "You two, let me get everyone out of here." 1. This guy, you two can't stop it. In fact, there is still a word that Katakuri has not said here, let alone other people, even he dare not say that he is the opponent's opponent. Advertisement. Maybe others can't detect the strength of the other party, but Katakuri's observation haki is the top level, of course, he can detect the long-hidden power in Wuho Satoru's body. In other words, if the other party really wants to kill them, it should be an easy thing to do. Not to mention other people, even if it is him Katakuri, it may not last long. I believe that if you really fight, you will be defeated in less than a dozen rounds. If Katakuri guessed correctly, the opponent's strength is definitely the level of Marine Admiral and four emperors. Over the years, Katakuri has never doubted that there will be a problem with his own judgment, and he is extremely confident that his current judgment is correct. It's a pity that the card 0.0 Takuri thinks things too well. What Katakuri can think of that Gojo Satoru can't think of? My captain said it. Wujo Wu said as he took out his hand from his trouser pocket and said, "You will all be left here today, none of you will be able to leave." Just after the white-haired man named Gojo Satoru said the last sentence, his lazy look disappeared instantly, replaced by a cold look. Advertisement. 234 Pen starts to act, Charlotte family is lost. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It is clear. Wu Tiaowu is going to be real. That gesture. No matter how you look at it, it's all about the real intention, to clear up Katakuri and the others. Katakuri's expression became more solemn. Ready to fight anytime. You can't let you steal all the limelight, Gojo Satoru. Everyone looked at the place where the sound came from, and found a man with orange hair leaning against the wall, quietly watching everyone present. Pain. Another heavyweight. Before everyone could react, Pain suddenly opened his hands and used ninjutsu. A momentary thing. Advertisement. 30. All the ships are flying. ... Hit hard. The Charlotte family's fleet was devastated. No one thought that Pain almost wiped out the entire Charlotte family fleet with just 10% of his strength. Most of the powerful cadres are capable people. If they fall into the bottom of the sea like this, it will cost them their lives. Fortunately, they responded in time. Escaped. If not, whether it's Pain or Gojo Satoru in front of him, they are all extremely powerful beings in the Kamui Pirates. What's going on? Why? But compared with Pain, the gap is still too big, not a level opponent at all. Owen is really panicking to death now. Advertisement. The legs seemed to have lost their strength and were stuck in the same place. Pain didn't use all his strength at all, just in a few rounds, he suddenly kicked out and kicked Daifuku away. Makes people feel terrified. Everyone here will die. Katakuri had thought that the gap between everyone's strength might be huge, but he didn't expect the gap to be so big. Dash towards pain. That posture is to kill pain alive. It is also one of the most powerful beings in the world. Gojo Satoru yawned, looked at Katakuri, and said, "It's up to you next, Katakuri. In less than a while, the people on my side have been wiped out." There was a bit of playfulness in those eyes, as if Katakuri was the prey. Owen subconsciously realized that something was wrong and planned to retreat with everyone. In the end, he was the only one left with a little bit of fighting power, and the others didn't do much. 897. As a result, just when he was about to move away, his legs suddenly couldn't move, and he was imprisoned in place. Advertisement. There is still such a thing happening. I'm going to kill you. Terrifyingly powerful. Pain looked calm and said, "Didn't I say it? You can't leave even if you want to leave, you all stay here." After Dafu roared. He never dreamed of it. Most of the Charlotte people here, like Owen, are imprisoned by unknown forces, and now they are all sitting still. Katakuri's face was half black, and he himself did not expect that the situation would be so bad. The demon behind him stood up in anger, bursting out with full speed. "If you want to go, there is no way. Facts have proved that Dafu still thinks too much, and he is indeed a strong man in the new world based on his strength. Therefore, Katakuri is having a hard time accepting this amazing fact. Why? The most terrible thing is that Pain didn't even use ninjutsu, and just used taijutsu to defeat Daifuku. My legs can't move." Advertisement. 235. Tell me your purpose, Katakuri. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. In the huge battle not long ago, these two people showed their skills in Summit War and defeated the Marine and Whitebeard pirates in a row. So, can Katakuri not be terrified? At this moment, Kronos flew over from a distance with his hands on his back. Looking down at Katakuri from above. "You are Katakuri, right?" If it were just Pain and Gojo Satoru, then Katakuri would still believe that a miracle happened. However, when Kronos really appeared in front of him, his heart was completely cold, and he didn't feel that he could save the whole situation at all. The thing that Katakuri was most worried about happened like this. The guy he least wanted to see, the legendary existence named Kronos, appeared in front of him. Like Katakuri, the Charlotte pirates want to cry too. Kronos, who is that? That is comparable to big figures like Whitebeard and Sengoku. What happened to Summit War? Of course they would know. Advertisement. Even they think that if one day their Charlotte family and Kamui pirates go to war in an all-round way, it must be a victory for the Kamui pirates. Will the Charlotte family win? That is impossible. There is no chance of winning. Must be beaten. It's impossible for them to win. Oh, I haven't shot yet, so the battle is about to end. The arrival of Kronos made Wuho Satoru a little depressed. Because he knew very well that once Kronos came, the battle was over. In this way, there is no need for him to continue to shoot. At the same time, several cadres planned to take advantage of the chaos and escape by submarine. However, as soon as they started to act, they were discovered by the strong men of the Kamui pirates. Advertisement. Die. Conan was a ghostly figure, with detonation talismans plastered on the back of that submarine. What happens when so many detonators stick to the submarine? That's something to imagine. Boom. The submarine exploded. The clansmen here do not know whether to live or die. But one thing is for sure, nothing will end well. The power of dozens of detonating talismans superimposed together is no joke, it can really kill people. Do not. After Owen watched his brothers die like this, his face was a little wrong, and he began to distort. At this moment, how much he hated the Kamui pirates, and the mastermind behind Kronos. If it weren't for Kronos and the others, maybe these brothers wouldn't have died. Advertisement. Of course. In addition to feeling extremely angry, Owen also felt deeply regret. If he knew it would turn out like this, he should have stopped Charlotte Linlin. Otherwise, there would be no such thing as today, is there? No longer against Kronos and the others. Qian Nujiao, it's a pity. So much to say now. It's too late. Things are too late for the country. Kronos looked at Katakuri and said with a chuckle, "Tell me, what are your Charlotte family's calculations? I believe that when you come here, it shouldn't be as simple as traveling, right?" Katakuri smiled miserably, feeling that the situation was over, and said, "You already know the answer, so why ask such a question? Kill if you want to kill." Advertisement. 236 Forcing Katakuri. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Who made them not rivals at all? There is also a more important reason, that is, because he did not want his own sake, he killed his own people in vain. Ah, I'm really pissed off. Charlotte Linlin, one of the four emperors, would be furious if she knew about it. This Kronos is clearly threatening them. In fact, one thing is that Kronos is right, there are two reasons why Katakuri didn't fight with the Kamui pirates. I really want to pinch this pest alive. The crew members ridiculed one after another. In short, no one took Owen's words seriously, and they all felt that the latter's head was more or less seriously ill. Advertisement. Kronos laughed, as if he had expected the other person to say that. As one of Katakuri's biological brothers, Owen jumped out at this time, blushed, and roared at Kronos and the others, saying, "You have the ability to have a fair duel with us. What nonsense is this kid talking about? There won't be any problems with his head, right? To say such stupid things. Katakuri is not a fool either, and can see that things are still negotiated. But, there is no way. The other clansmen couldn't guess at all, what the hell is his eldest brother thinking? After all, behind them, but the entire Charlotte family is backing. If it's a one-on-one matchup, Katakuri will not lose to anyone, not even your Kamui pirates. One of the reasons, naturally, is that Katakuri knows how strong he is, and he must not be able to beat so many powerhouses." Advertisement. DAAA, you are nothing more than a lot of people. It looks like there's room for de-escalation in this matter. Katakuri, have you thought about it carefully? Is it possible that the Charlotte family are all as stupid as this person? If so, in my heart, the Charlotte family can be said to be the most rubbish among the four emperors. Once you die, what will your clan do? Of course, he didn't dare to insult the Kamui pirates on the surface. Albedo stomped her feet furiously. If Kronos gave the order to shoot, she would definitely be the first to shoot and take down the arrogant Owen. As soon as these words came out, the crew of the Kamui pirates were stunned for a while, and then they all burst into laughter as if they had heard what a ridiculous joke. Advertisement. Ha ha ha. Once he said all the harsh words like this, it would only further stimulate the other party and make things worse. Obviously this is not what Katakuri wants to see. Maybe Kronos and the others can see the big picture and let them go, and it's not impossible. He was the only one who knew what Katakuri was thinking. One-on-one matchup. Do you really think you guys are so strong? Your Charlotte family is a bunch of rubbish compared to us. These cruel words 897, can't say a word. Katakuri really hated Kronos and the others. He scolded him as hard as he could in his heart. There was anger in Katakuri's eyes. You can't just watch them have an accident and then do nothing. Advertisement. 237 Owen's provocation. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. There was a hint of anger on Albedo's beautiful face. She is furious. It is obviously a weak and explosive little bug. The breath is so great. Who is not angry? Albedo, I really want to do it. Young people today, your tone is really crazy. Ban Ji-yu sighed. Uchiha Madara gave a cold and expressionless voice, and said, fighting against this kind of stuff will really lower my worth. With my ability, I want to clean up this stuff, as easy as drinking water. Senju Hashirama nodded lightly, and it was rare that he didn't respond to Uchiha Madara, because in his heart, he had a similar opinion. The person who feels the most headache must be Katakuri. Advertisement. Katakuri never dreamed of it. Things will turn out like this. Isn't this a good negotiation? Maybe that guy at Kronos will lift his hand and let them go. Well now, Owen made things even worse after he said this. How does this make him negotiate? The people of the Charlotte family in the distance also thought that Owen was crazy to make such a ridiculous request. Some of the clansmen really almost screamed. Owen did this, didn't he just force them to a dead end? It's so absurd. Everyone is really bitter and can't say it, they really can't understand the reason why Owen did this. Only those brothers who usually have contact with Owen can more or less guess the reason. It is simply because Owen's brain is twitching for a while, so he will say this. After hearing what Irving said just now, Kronos didn't feel angry, but laughed and said, Ha ha ha, it's interesting, it's really interesting. 1 inch. Advertisement. Then, Kronos' eyes gradually turned cold. Since you said so, then I'll give you a chance. Done. Kronos looked away. Put it back on Katakuri. What? Do you want to gamble with me? I sent someone here to fight you. If you can win, then I can promise that all of you will be released unconditionally. Of course, if you lose, then you have to listen to me, no problem, right? 1. 0 for flowers 00. When Katakuri heard this, his heart suddenly moved. Advertisement. This condition. It's really good for them. At least this has a chance to come back to life. If Katakuri can win in the next battle, then not only can he save his own life, but also the lives of all his clansmen. And Kronos is a man who walks the talk and does what he says. Katakuri had also heard a lot about Kronos and knew that the latter never kept his promises. Anything is fine, as long as Kronos promises it. Then Kronos will definitely do it, that's who he is. Katakuri is also willing to gamble with such a trustworthy person. But after thinking about it, Katakuri had a headache, because the Kamui pirates are all strong among the strong without exception, even if they just joined the trainee crew not long ago. Sharp. Katakuri doesn't think that Kronos will let his trainee crew come out to fight him, and most likely let some beings as powerful as monsters shoot. 0. Advertisement. 238 Gojo Satoru. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. How about it? Are you going to promise? Kronos smiled. The clansmen in the distance all put their expectations on Katakuri, and those eyes seemed to say, Brother Katakuri, please promise each other. Katakuri naturally noticed the eyes around him, and knew that there was no way out of the current situation, so he could only agree to the other party. Oh, okay. It can only be done like 900. After Katakuri took a long sigh, he turned around, cheered up, and said, Come on, Kronos. Who are you going to send here? As soon as the words were spoken, Gojo Satoru, who once fought with the Charlotte family, immediately jumped out to fight and said, Captain Kronos, let me do it, it just happens that I haven't done it for a long time, my hand is really itchy. Kronos agreed without hesitation, he was full of confidence in Gojo Satoru's strength, and didn't think the latter would lose to Katakuri at this time. Advertisement. Kronos knows better than anyone how strong Gojo Satoru is. If this person is serious, even Marine Admiral can kill him. Such a guy, once in the enemy lineup, must be a very bad thing. But if such a strong character is from their side, then it is undoubtedly a great thing. Therefore, Kronos is full of confidence in Gojo Satoru, and feels that if the latter takes action, he will definitely be able to take down Katakuri. Besides, Katakuri himself is not strong there, although he is the second in command of the Charlotte family, he is a veritable top powerhouse. But there is still a big gap from the level of Admiral and 4 Emperors. Gojo Satoru smiled and said while doing warm-up exercises, I heard that you are the second in command of the Charlotte family, and the person who has the most hope of becoming the head of the family. I hope you can come up with some skills next, don't let me be too disappointed. Katakuri shrugged his shoulders, nodded silently, and seemed to be ready for battle, ready to fight Gojo Satoru. This battle, not just for myself, especially for the people behind him who are waiting for him to save. Therefore, Katakuri intends to bet everything to win this battle. Advertisement. This battle cannot be defeated. Once defeated, it will not only be thrown into the face of the Charlotte family. You will also let yourself be famous all your life, all gone. Just do it. Bring out your full strength. Gojo Satoru said with anticipation. 0. Facts have proved that all the clansmen really think too much. Almost before the battle started, all the clansmen felt that this would be a very exciting battle, and they had to fight to the death. However, when the two sides really began to fight seriously, the scene presented, everyone in the Charlotte family was stunned. Advertisement. His jaw dropped in shock. Whether it is strength or not. Still good speed. Or good combat experience. The 5 Enlightenment all have the advantage, and stay above the wind. In the first 5 rounds of the 0.0 fight, Katakuri was almost at an absolute disadvantage. Katakuri really did not intend to release water, nor did he look down on Gojo Satoru, and he dealt with it seriously from beginning to end. But even so, after trying all the methods, Katakuri couldn't beat Gojo Satoru. What's up with this guy? Why are there no flaws in the whole body? Katakuri was extremely surprised. Advertisement. 239 The Unbreakable Man. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Katakuri was dumbfounded. This life. He has seen countless strong men. Accumulated valuable battlefield experience. He even played against top-level players like Four Emperors and Admiral. And it was with this unique combat experience that he made himself stand out from the Charlotte family and became the strongest person next to the Four Emperors. Deputy Emperor. He, who is only 1 foot away from the Four Emperors, is completely at a disadvantage at this moment. Katakuri has a very special feel. As if facing it. Not an ordinary crew. Rather a Four Emperors. The real Four Emperors. As soon as this idea appeared. It is uncontrollable. Advertisement. 30 Katakuri's breathing is a little suffocated. If his guess is correct, how strong is the Kamui pirates? Among the legendary pirates. In the end, how many people, like Gojo Satoru, have absolutely invincible power? Can't even think about it. Just when Katakuri was secretly surprised, Gojo Satoru couldn't help but praise him and said, "It's very good, to be able to fight with me for this purpose proves that you have a lot of skills. If it was someone else, I'm afraid it would have fallen into my hands long ago, but you can persist for so long, which is enough to prove that your ability is extraordinary." Although he was highly recognized by the other party, Katakuri was not happy at all, instead he became more worried. Because Katakuri has no idea how to deal with such a flawless powerhouse. Magic rice cake. No double circle. Katakuri took a deep breath. With fruit ability. The wreckage of the pirate ship around, a little bit was transformed into a special material. In the end, they converged in midair. Advertisement. Formed a donut. Just put it on Katakuri's right arm, turning it into an arm 10 meters long. Oh, in the face of this menacing punch. Gojo Satoru didn't feel the slightest bit of agreement. Instead, I find it interesting. Subconsciously dodged back, intending to avoid the fatal blow of Katakuri. However, on the way, Katakuri seemed to have expected Gojo Satoru to do this in advance, but the arm full of strange power suddenly bent and swung in the other direction. As if not expecting such a thing to happen, Gojo Satoru took the punch without a word, and the whole person took a step back. It can make a peerless powerhouse like Gojo Satoru take a step back. It's been a rare thing. In other words, in this sea, whenever you can come across Wudiao and realize it. It's awesome. It's amazing. I can actually hide there. Gojo Satoru was still smiling and unmoved. Advertisement. Katakuri's face was a little ugly. Just now, he used all his strength in this punch, but he still didn't seriously hurt the opponent. Not only that, it seems that the other party still has nothing to do. Just taking a step back, what a victory. Take it, pick it up. Katakuri roared twice. The fists made of rice cakes waved down one after another. The punch fell. Like a storm. Hard to avoid. The most important thing is that every time Wuho Satoru dodges, it will be accurately calculated by Katakuri, so that his fist can successfully hit the latter. What happened next shocked Katakuri and the others. Obviously eating so many attacks. But Gojo Satoru himself. Still unscathed. Advertisement. 240 Observation Hockey Who Sees the Future. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru looked calm. Just take a small step back. The clansmen in the distance looked at each other and couldn't help but let out a shocked sound. That Gojo Satoru is really a monster. Even though Big Brother Katakuri has shown all his strength, he still hasn't killed him. It's no wonder that some people say that Gojo Satoru's ability is comparable to Admiral's. Now it seems that this is not a rumor, but a hard fact. It turns out that Gojo Go is really too fierce. No matter how you say it, Brother Katakuri is the second in command of our family. The only person stronger than him is Charlotte Linlin. But is such a ruthless character who uses tricks and doesn't do any harm to the opponent. If it was said that the Charlotte family members were only a little shocked. So now is the boundless fear. Advertisement. Terrible. This is not alone. Can someone be so strong? Some clansmen even felt that Wudiao was not a person at all, but a hell devil in human skin. Kronos held his chin and said thoughtfully. Interesting. If I'm not wrong. Katakuri, you can see the future, right? One sentence was said to be his greatest support, and Katakuri's expression remained unchanged. It seemed that the enemy would find out about it from the beginning. Advertisement. This is no longer a secret, but a well-known thing, so Katakuri feels that his strongest ability will be discovered by the enemy sooner or later. It's just a matter of time, that's all. Bang Ji-yu sighed, stroked his beard and said, "Can you see part of the future ability? This kid does have something. I don't know if I can learn similar skills." Uchiha Madara, who had previously looked down on Katakuri, changed his attitude a bit when he realized that the other party could see part of the future. Senju Hashirama glanced at Uchiha Madara and lowered his voice. "Can your Sharingan do something similar?" Uchiha Madara said indifferently. "Although I can't see the future like him, I can achieve a similar effect and let me know what the enemy will do next." Senju Hashirama didn't say anything more after but looked at Katakuri quietly, not knowing what the famous ninja god was thinking. Jigyu Ueni was thinking in his heart, if the person who fights with Katakuri is not Gojo Satoru, but his words. Can the opponent also rely on this special ability to judge his sword path? Kronos smiled slightly. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru. It's time to show your true skills and let that kid have a good lesson, right? Gojo Satoru intends to do it even if Kronos doesn't say so. Gojo Satoru slowly took off his blindfold, revealing a handsome face. The pair of dark Nord's pupils seemed to contain supreme magic, and they attracted the attention of others like a black hole. For some reason, when Katakuri saw that pair of special pupils, he panicked in his heart. The powerful observation haki that he has always relied on is constantly reminding him at this moment that he may be in danger. Katakuri never doubted that there would be a problem with his intuition, that is to say, he may really have to face a big crisis next. Advertisement. 241 The Charlotte family, defeated. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I saw Wudiawu slowly opened his mouth and said. 5 empty spaces. I can kill in seconds with Shen Luo Tianzhong. At this time, Katakuri couldn't think of other things at all. The Charlotte family, the Kamui pirates, all were left behind by him. In his subconscious, whether it is Katakuri or the clan behind him, they are all the prey he is staring at. This kind of stuff. Completely defeated. Advertisement. Pain and Uchiha Madara were even more angry, and they both pretended to be angry and laughed and cursed. In the eyes of ordinary people, this is just a blink of an eye. After Owen and Daifuku looked at each other, they couldn't help gasping for air. For them, this was really a terrifying thing. Gojo Satoru seemed to have sensed the bad attitude of the crew, and was still there with a smile. In their impression, Katakuri eldest brother K.D.A.A.A. is an invincible family god of war, and the strong under the 4 emperors can deal with it. Even if Marine Admiral comes, Katakuri will always have a way to deal with it. Even if he can't beat the opponent, he can still rely on his first-class resourcefulness to delay time. But what they never expected was that in front of this man named Gojo Satoru, Katakuri was completely suppressed, and there was no room for a counterattack. Plop. Uchiha Madara's eyes widened and he said, "Why, are you upset? Or are you saying you don't believe what I said just now?" The members of the Charlotte family couldn't accept this, and they all screamed in horror. Advertisement. Katakuri bent down in pain, feeling that his consciousness was gradually dissipating. On the other hand, Pain has almost the same reaction as Uchiha Madara, feeling that if he does it himself, he can quickly clean up Katakuri. Lost. The undefeated god of war of the Charlotte family just fell on his back and lost consciousness on the spot. But the person Katakuri has a feeling of living in hell, and the purgatory-like pain keeps pouring into his mind. 910. Uchiha Madara raised his head proudly and said casually, "If I were to deal with Katakuri, I would definitely do it all faster than him. No matter how powerful that Katakuri is, it will not be my 3 rounds. Opponent." In the distance, or in the eyes of others, Katakuri is a very strong existence, but Pain has full confidence and will win this person with absolute certainty. The other crew members laughed helplessly. These 3 people often bicker like this, they are really used to it. Advertisement. Senju Hashirama was even more helpless. You are a very competitive person. Yo, I'm sorry, robbing your prey. In the eyes of everyone, what a powerful Katakuri, just fell to the ground. Senju Hashirama looked like he had nothing to do with you and said, "Alas, I really don't know what to say to you." In the next instant, A huge amount of information like the sea flooded into Katakori's mind at once. As a result, in front of so many people, Gojo Satoru just snatched his prey away, and Pain was of course unhappy. Holding his forehead, he smiled wryly. That sudden huge memory was tearing apart his own head, causing his brain to explode. The reason why Pain was so unhappy was because he felt that Gojo Satoru had robbed his prey. Advertisement. 242 Katakori is defeated, and the defeat is convinced. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Kronos clapped his hands and chuckled, "Well done, Gojo Satoru." Wu Diaowu did not feel that he had done a very powerful thing. He scratched his head and laughed and said, "Haha, this matter is really nothing to me." When the people of Charlotte in the distance heard this sentence, they were almost infuriated to death. What does this tone mean? Did they not take Katakori in their eyes? Kronos gradually put away his smile, and after a sneer, he said to Owen and the others, "Do you want to die?" The simple 5 words, like a demon's low voice, made Owen and the others' faces change greatly, and a sense of fear poured out from the depths of their hearts. The most worrying thing is that it just happened. It doesn't matter which clan you are, you don't want to die like this. They are still young. How could it be so easy to die? Obviously there are still a lot of things waiting for them to do. Advertisement. Just when the clansmen didn't know what to do, Katakori, who had been stunned by Gojo Satoru with a spell, miraculously woke up at this time. It has to be said that Katakori's willpower is really tenacious, and it can be said that it is as strong as ordinary people. For a normal person to fall into the 5 realms of enlightenment, he would have to lie down for at least a few months. Even a powerhouse at the level of Marine Vice Admiral would step into the realms set up like this. It would take a few weeks in the short term, or a whole month in the long term. But the Katakori in front of him only slept for a few minutes, and soon regained consciousness. It can be seen that Katakori is really capable. Wu Diaowu smiled and said, "Interesting, to be able to regain consciousness so quickly. Did I underestimate your willpower?" Katakori, who has just woken up, still feels that his head is a little sluggish, and he feels that there are a lot of garbage memories in his mind that he should not have. This feeling, it was as if a pile of rubbish rushed into his brain and made his thinking stagnate. At this time, Kronos had his hands on his back. Came over step by step. Cold voice. Advertisement. Katakori, you are defeated. Although this is an ironclad fact, Katakori is still very sad, not only unwilling, but also deeply admired. In this battle, he was convinced that he was defeated. No matter how many chances are given to him, he can't be Gojo Satoru's opponent. 0 for flowers 00. Even if it is 100 times, or even 1,000 times, I am destined to be unable to beat this person. It will inevitably be pressed to the ground by the ladder, and then there is nothing to do. What just happened is the best proof. With his current strength, if he wants to kill the opponent, it is simply a dream. After Katakori let out a sigh. 0. Look at Kronos. Advertisement. He spoke slowly. Speak. What do you want to do with us? Kronos snapped his fingers. Just wait for Katakori to say this. Laughed. From now on, including you, everyone is my spoils. Are you okay? Katakori and the others were speechless. Silence is the best answer. Kronos ignored Katakori's feelings at all, and took out the Charlotte family's phone bug from the cabin, and began to contact Charlotte Linlin on Cake Island. Seeing Kronos pick up the phone bug, Katakori had a bad premonition and frowned. What do you mean? 0. Advertisement. 243 Negotiating with Big Mom. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Kronos showed a neat white fang. Of course. Is that even a question? Of course. Contact your parents and ask him to come up with a bargaining chip and exchange you. The sudden word made Katakori and the others cold, and the thing that worried them the most happened like this. If Charlotte Linlin really knows about this, then they really go back to 910, to Cake Island in the future. I really don't know what terrible things will happen to them next. They know better than anyone else what kind of person their mother is. The word defeat is the word Charlotte Linlin doesn't want to hear. Once Charlotte Linlin knows that they are completely wiped out like this, and they are not the opponents of the Kamui pirates at all, they will definitely settle accounts with them one day, and they will likely be punished. Charlotte Linlin, who was still on Cake Island, was waiting for good news from Katakuri and the others, and was happily eating sweet cakes. Advertisement. The huge cake in front of me was made by my own clansmen with all their life. The materials for making cakes are all stolen from other kingdoms. For such a piece of cake, the treasuries of several kingdoms have been looted. Indirectly led to the downfall of these kingdoms. This is why the Charlotte family is so annoying. As long as they want what they want, no matter how despicable means they use, they must do it. Charlotte Linlin, who was eating cake, suddenly had a strong foreboding. It seems that something terrible has happened. What does it feel like? Charlotte Linlin felt vaguely that something was wrong. Advertisement. At this time, phone bug on the table. Suddenly it rang. Charlotte Linlin subconsciously picked up the phone bug to see what Katakuri was doing to her. However, as soon as the phone worm was connected, the voice that came out was not Katakuri, or the voice of other clansmen. It was a very unfamiliar voice. Hello, is that Charlotte Linlin? After hearing this unfamiliar voice, Charlotte Linlin subconsciously froze for a moment, and then subconsciously asked, "Who are you? Why is my family's phone bug in your hands? Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kronos. I'm sure you remember my name, right?" Kronos. Advertisement. This name, Charlotte Linlin, may not be forgotten even in death, enough to remember for a lifetime. If there's one thing Charlotte Linlin wants to die most right now, it's Kronos. For her, the person who poses the biggest threat to her today is undoubtedly this Kronos. It's just that Charlotte Linlin couldn't understand why the other party would use this phone bug to contact her. To know. Point 0. This phone bug, but their family's emergency phone bug. No matter what the situation is, the Charlotte family will not give this phone bug to 0.0 other outsiders to use. B. An accident happened to the tribe, so the phone bug naturally fell into Kronos' hands. After realizing this, Charlotte Linlin was already furious and roared, "Kronos, what have you done to my people? Why is this phone bug in your hands?" Advertisement. 244 I have to give in, Ant is helpless. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. You made it clear to me what's going on. Can Charlotte Linlin not be angry? The army she sent this time was the elite of her Charlotte family. Once something really happened to Katakuri and the others, the Charlotte family would really be devastated, and it would be difficult to recover even after a few years of recuperation. So, Charlotte Linlin is both excited and incredible right now. So what happened? Why did the Kamui pirates suddenly capture Katakuri? Can't blame Charlotte Linlin for being so surprised, because from the beginning she didn't want her people to fight the Kamui pirates in advance, so she deliberately arranged for her men to choose a remote route. Advertisement. Even if you don't arrive at C30 as planned, as long as you don't meet anyone from the Kamui pirates or the Whitebeard pirates, the plan is considered a success. However, the plan still failed. For some reason, the Kamui pirates headed by Kronos not only discovered the traces of Katakuri and others in advance, but also arrested them. What Charlotte Linlin didn't know was that Kronos and the others were also quite surprised by this incident, because a sudden huge wave caused the Angel of Redemption to deviate from the original course, which led to the accidental encounter with the card. Thakuri them. That is to say, without that huge wave, maybe Kronos and the others might not encounter Katakuri, and none of this would happen. Maybe even God couldn't get used to what Charlotte Linlin and the others did, so they arranged such a good show. Compared to his furious rage, Kronos seemed calm and relaxed, and said with a smile, "Charlotte Linlin, don't be in such a hurry, listen to me slowly." Speaking of which, Kronos paused. Then word for word. "All of your people have been captured by me. Every word of this." Advertisement. Every word. Like invisible arrows. Shot in the heart of Charlotte Linlin. Charlotte Linlin has blue veins on her forehead. Although she was already mentally prepared. Would have expected something like this to happen. But when it does happen, I still can't accept it. Feeling extremely sad. The last thing she didn't want to happen, it just happened. After a while, Charlotte Linlin recovered, her old eyes were full of anger, and said, "Everyone is a smart person, you might as well say some things directly." Advertisement. What do I need to do to get you to let me go? When the last sentence was uttered, Charlotte Linlin really felt so embarrassed that she didn't think that she would have a day to ask for help. If this matter spreads out, I don't know how secretly 910 enemies from all over the world will mock him. But, Charlotte Linlin can't do anything about it. Either Katakuri is fine, or other tribes. All are important. Once something really happened to Katakuri, it would mean that the family lost a successor, which is not what Charlotte Linlin wanted to see. All along, Charlotte Linlin really treats Katakuri as her important heir, and has placed expectations on this person. She feels that the latter will one day lead the entire family to rise to a higher level. Maybe one day she will die like this, then the next Charlotte family will depend on Katakuri. Advertisement. 245A2 Choice Multiple Choice Question. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Therefore, for the safety of Katakuri, Charlotte Linlin had to lower her attitude, and even her tone was much lower. It's not impossible for me to let Katakuri and the others leave, but you must prepare equal chips on your side. I won't let people go in vain, I believe you know this very well. So don't hold the mentality of being lucky. Charlotte Linlin's face is getting uglier. Gloomy as water. The ministers of Cake Island who are here are all shivering. They can feel it. The mighty conqueror's haki unleashed from Charlotte Linlin. Advertisement. The overly powerful conqueror's haki seems to affect everything around it like a tide. They know very well what the consequences will be if their mother gets angry. Even if it was an important minister like Longbread, he couldn't help sweating secretly, for fear that things would really get worse. If things are really serious, even if they are their own people, they may not have a good ending. There's even a chance that Charlotte Linlin will take anger at them. I can't blame the ministers such as Longbread for thinking this way, because before this, similar things have indeed happened, and it can be said that there is a lesson from the past. Whatever conditions do you want, just speak up. Charlotte Linlin said solemnly. Simple. Do you remember the 6 flies from the beast's pirates? Kronos suddenly shifted the topic to the pirate group that was also one of the 4 emperors. Advertisement. Although she didn't know what the other party was thinking, Charlotte Linlin continued to follow the other party's meaning, frowned and asked, "What do you mean by bringing this up at this time?" Of course I know the 6 flying pirates, they are an important force among the beast's pirates, second only to the 3 calamities. Just after the words were spoken, Charlotte Linlin seemed to realize something, her face became more gloomy, and said, "Don't tell me, you are going to force me to shoot the 6 flying people, and then take them as hostages and exchange them with you." 1 inch. Kronos couldn't help but sighed and said, as expected of the sly Charlotte Linlin, she reacted so quickly. "Yes, my idea is exactly like this. I believe you also have a scale in your heart. Do you know the importance of Katakuri and the others? The 6 flying cells are more important, or is your clan more important? This 2-choice multiple choice question is not difficult for you at all, right? Don't you take it." Kronos' voice is like a demon from the depths of hell, which is instinctively disturbing. The ministers present are very disturbed. They are sweating profusely. Advertisement. Legs are starting to tremble. Seems to have guessed what Kronos really was doing this for. My dear, he is planning to use this opportunity to tear us apart from the beast's pirates. What a trick. If we really, do this, Kaido will definitely fight us when he finds out about it. A family minister gritted his teeth and said very unhappily. They really hate Kronos. Such means. Too vile. Under the current world situation, they can't wait to join forces with Kaido and fight against other forces at this time. If Kronos really does what he wants, then the alliance's plan will definitely go bankrupt. Advertisement. 246 What a vicious strategy. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. With the end of the Summit War, the situation on the sea completely collapsed, and the division of forces that had been maintained for many years was instantly broken. Today's sea can be said to be full of gunpowder, and the forces of all parties are ready to move, and they all plan to do something big. God knows what will happen to the sea after a while. If it is not good, it is really possible that a full-scale war will break out like this, and it will end the chaotic era that has been going on for many years. Therefore, the Charlotte family has always hoped that at this time, they can join forces with the beast's pirates and fight against other forces. Even if they fail to form an alliance in the end, it will at least make the people of the beast's pirates feel good about them. As such, Kaido will definitely settle accounts after the fact. But this Kronos. Advertisement. When has the Charlotte family been so insulted? With Kronos's promise, Charlotte Linlin is relieved a lot, because he knows that Kronos usually does things ruthlessly, but he is still a very trustworthy person. After hanging up on the phone bug, Charlotte Linlin couldn't take it any longer, destroying everything around her in anger. Charlotte Linlin's tone grew tougher. Simply say. Legs, shaking non-stop. Well, I promise you. Just heard. But you have to promise me that you can't do anything against my people. 913. Although they don't know what Charlotte Linlin is thinking about, their inner thoughts are that they have been reluctant to tear their faces with the people on the beast side. Advertisement. It was designed to have her and Kaido kill each other. Over the years, since she became the Four Emperors, no one dared to look down on her like that. Even Marine, our celestial dragons aloof, dared not speak to her like that. Extremely angry. Charlotte Linlin gets angrier the more she thinks about it. But now, Kronos made this excessive request, insisting that they go and capture Fei Liubao in exchange for the lives of Katakuri and others. Maintaining a good relationship with such a powerful force as the Beast's pirates is the most important thing. Not only did he provoke himself again and again, but now he has captured Katakuri and the others. Thinking that it is very likely that they will be enemies with the strongest creatures, the people of the Charlotte family who were present all have their scalps numb. Charlotte Linlin sighed sadly, and after thinking for several minutes, she reluctantly agreed to Kronos' request. The world's first creature. Advertisement. This nickname. Kronos seemed to have expected the other party to say this, so he had already figured out how to reply to the other party, saying, "Don't worry, as long as they don't make trouble and are obedient, then I won't do anything to them." As such, she really wanted to rush in now and tear Kronos apart. The clan can see through things, how could a cunning old sea emperor like Charlotte Linlin not be able to see what Kronos' intention was? No matter what, they are my pawns, how can I move them? This incident can be said to be a huge shame for Charlotte Linlin. If they lose a hair, I'll settle the bill with you. They all trembled uncontrollably. Being able to form an alliance is naturally the best. Neither the Charlotte family nor the Beast's pirates will be able to participate in the next battle. Advertisement. 247 Auntie is going to the Ghost Island. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Too bad it can't be done. With her current ability, if she wants to kill Kronos, she has to at least add Beast's pirates to have the power to fight. After hesitating for a while, Longbread stood up and asked Charlotte Linlin, "Linlin, do you really have to decide to keep your promise and capture all of the Fei Lius? You must know that Fei Liubao are all the core backbones of the Beast's pirates, if we really shot and gave them all." Before Longbread could finish speaking, Charlotte Linlin waved her hand to signal that the other party didn't need to continue speaking, and said, with a stern face, "It's fine no matter what, for now we can only do it this way, isn't it?" Advertisement. Is there any other option? No more. When Charlotte Linlin said this, a killing intent flashed in her eyes. There is also a trace of helplessness. Longbread and other ministers looked at each other. Honestly, it was the first time they saw Charlotte Linlin like this, which made them feel a little strange. This is normal. I'm afraid Charlotte Linlin has long since taken a big knife to Kronos to settle the account. However, the Kamui pirates led by Kronos are really too powerful. They are super existences that were crushed by both the Vice Admiral Marine and the Whitebeard pirates in Summit War. After that battle, basically, many people felt that the Kamui pirates were truly the number one pirates. Advertisement. After all, even the strongest pirate Whitebeard can't beat the Kamui pirates, so what else is there to say? Even within the Charlotte family, there are many people who feel that even if the four remaining royal groups are united today, they may not be able to clean up Kronos. Kronos himself was terrifying, but his men were equally terrifying, each more terrifying than the last. Many of them are comparable to Marine Admiral. Even the famous Marine Admiral like Aokiji, didn't he still fall in the crusade of the Kamui pirates? Charlotte Linlin had already made up her mind and knew that doing so would turn her back on Kaido, but she still did it without hesitation. Because Katakuri is an indispensable existence for the Charlotte family, who is the heir to Charlotte Linlin's fancy. 0 for flowers 00. If something happens in such a halfway dominance, then it will take decades for Charlotte Linlin to cultivate an excellent heir like Katakuri. Advertisement. Charlotte Linlin jumped up, stepped on the floating clouds, and said to the crowd, when I go to the Ghost Island, you people have to take a good look at your home, and you can't let some younger people take the opportunity to invade, you know. The ministers clasped their fists one after another, and all said they would do it. Then, Charlotte Linlin left here angrily and went to Oni Island to catch Fei Liubao and the others. Almost at the same time. After Kronos hung up the phone bug, Katakuri was already roaring, saying, "Kill me if you can." Katakuri really didn't expect that Kronos would be so despicable, forcing them Charlotte family and Beast's pirates to be enemies by such means. It just kills them. Others may not know what the current situation of the Charlotte family is, but as the best heir to the Charlotte family, he knows better than anyone that the Charlotte family is now in a predicament. Advertisement. 248 Meet Kronos, say honorific. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Over the years, because of Charlotte Linlin's dominance, do everything without considering the feelings of all parties. Once offended Kaido. Not to mention whether it can maintain peace on the surface, it is very likely that a large army will be transferred to destroy you the next day. That woman named Albedo would kill them. One or two ants may not make a good climate, but if they are united together. And everyone knows that all of Kronos' subordinates are weirdos. Advertisement. And you didn't bring them down. If so, why not let you guard them? I really don't know what's going to happen next. How could Katakuri not know that the Beast's pirates guys are a bunch of lunatics? Kronos' remarks can be said to be impeccable, making Gojo Satoru hold back for a long time, unable to think of any suitable words. Kronos said, "Of course. Besides you, is there a better candidate?" "No more. That would definitely be a huge threat to Cake Island. Especially their captain, the king of beasts known by the world as the first creature, Kaido. If those forces really thought so, it would bring huge trouble to the Charlotte family and cause problems with the foundation of the four emperors. Kronos will keep his promises, but that doesn't mean his crew will keep them too." As soon as these words came out, Wu Tiaowu's expression became a little stiff, and he pointed to himself and said, "Ah. I heard right, do you really want me to see and live with them?" Advertisement. Kronos thought for a while. In front of her, no one can scold Kronos, let alone the captives like Katakuri. "Gojo Satoru, you are responsible for guarding them, is there any problem?" 1 inch. These lunatics are only born to fight. If the Charlotte family is still strong, then Katakuri doesn't need to worry about September 13th. And the worst thing about it is the Beast's pirates. As long as you can get your favorite sweets. Katakuri didn't feel at all that if the backbone of his family was captured like this, Kaido would calmly discuss the alliance with the Charlotte family. Opened his mouth. Advertisement. Albedo suddenly came up, slapped Katakuri directly, and said, "You don't seem to recognize your situation yet. How dare you talk to our captain like this? It's just courting death." Kronos took a serious look at Katakuri and said, "You can rest assured, I am quite trustworthy. If that guy Charlotte Linlin really goes to get Fei Liubao, I can guarantee you all. It is safe to leave." In this way, the surrounding forces are no longer disgusting the Charlotte family, but are eager to die. But things are different now, and after so many things, those who already hated the Charlotte family might feel that this might be an opportunity for revenge. But no one dared to scold Kronos again. Doing things has always been extreme. Albedo has always treated Kronos as a supreme being. They often send large armies to loot. Not only Katakuri had such an attitude, but other pirates also thought the same. In short, they all hated Kronos to the core. Katakuri had already scolded Kronos to death in his heart, but he didn't dare to say a word of cruelty. 0. Advertisement. 249 Fei Liubao was shocked. Why did the ant take action against them? Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Ghost Island. It was a cloudy day, and it looked like a storm was coming. For some reason, the Fei Liubao who are in charge of guarding the island of ghosts are rarely feeling a little uneasy. As if something big is about to happen. It's so strange, why do my eyelids keep twitching? Is something going to happen? A Kadri muttered to himself. The voice just fell. An incomparably thick thunder force descended from the sky and smashed onto the ghost island. Boom. For a while, the beast pirates who had no time to avoid were mercilessly killed by this thunder force. 30. Possible. I don't even know how I died. Advertisement. After all, it all happened so fast and so suddenly. Who would have thought that such a thing would happen to the island of Oni? You must know that this is the old lair of the beast's pirates and the base camp of one of the four emperors, but even Marine would not dare to come here. Flying Six brothers, don't even think about running away. Charlotte Linlin didn't know that she flew out from there, holding a big knife in her hand, and launched a fierce attack directly at the Fei Liubao. The Fei Liupus are certainly capable, each of them is a pirate with a bounty of more than 400 million, and this kind of strength is definitely the mainstay in New World. Among them, there are several people with full potential. If they are cultivated a little, they are likely to become powerful beings like the Three Calamities. But, in the face of Charlotte Linlin, the strength that the Fei Lius were proud of was useless at this time, and was completely suppressed. In fact, it's not that they're too weak, it's that Charlotte Linlin is too fierce, too fierce. After all, the four emperors are the four emperors, and they have an absolute strength advantage. If Charlotte Linlin is really not strong at all, just a waste, then she definitely cannot sit in the position of the four emperors. Advertisement. But Charlotte Linlin not only became the four emperors, but also became the four emperors for decades. And in these decades, how many pirates have tried to challenge Charlotte Linlin, trying to drive the latter off? But without exception, these people all failed and were completely buried in the ocean. Boom. Boom. 6 paths fell to the ground one after another with bloody figures. They were badly wounded and dying. The surrounding beast pirates were even worse. Although they were not Charlotte Linlin's primary purpose, they were also beaten to death by the aftermath of the battle. There are also some unlucky ones who didn't have time to escape, so they were absorbed by Charlotte Linlin's soul fruit power, and even lost their souls. Charlotte Linlin, what do you mean? Are you officially fighting against our beast's pirates? Aren't you afraid to offend the governor? Damn it, if the governor hadn't intervened in the Kronos and Whitebeard fight, Charlotte Linlin would have been dead. 913 inches. It hurts to death, my wound is opening, and it must be treated. Otherwise, I might really die like this. Advertisement. The Fei Lu Pai reluctantly stood up, and each of them couldn't help roaring. They don't understand. Can't figure it out either. Why? At this very moment, the head of the Charlotte family came to trouble them. Also one time. Killed so many beast pirates. Is this a war? The two imperial regiments fought inexplicably like this, didn't they? But the question is, why did Charlotte Linlin suddenly start fighting? When did they offend the Charlotte family? Advertisement. 250 and crazy. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. These years. Despite some friction. But harmless. Both sides restrained and did not further expand the conflict. Is Charlotte Linlin crazy? Why did she come to the island of ghosts for no reason and kill so many people? Could it be that the Charlotte family is planning to annex us while our Lord Governor is not here? Foz, the leader of the Flying Six, couldn't understand all of this, his eyes were full of puzzlement, he really couldn't even think about it. Why did Charlotte Linlin do this? This is totally unreasonable, so someone took the initiative to start a war at this moment. Now the eyes of the world are on the battle between Kronos and Whitebeard. Advertisement. As a result, Charlotte Linlin not only didn't go to the Kronos for their trouble, but in turn troubled them. Isn't this funny or what? Charlotte Linlin said coldly. If you want to blame, you are too weak. Don't blame me for being too ruthless, I have no choice but to do it like this. While exuding an incomparably powerful aura, she slowly approached the Fei Luan, her voice became more and more low and hoarse, and said, "Of course, I will tell you the truth. I came here. I didn't come to kill you, I just wanted to take you away. Because someone wants your heads." The Fei Lu family were all scared to pee. What is this all about? Anyone want their head? Who would do this? You must know that Charlotte Linlin is the four emperors. There is someone in this world who can let Charlotte Linlin act as a thug, risking offending the beast's pirates who are also the four emperors, and also coming to take them all away. Advertisement. Foz subconsciously asked, who is that person? Charlotte Linlin snapped. Who else? Kronos. Just after saying this, Charlotte Linlin directly raised the big knife. The blade is covered with the extremely strong armament hockey, as well as the flame energy attached to the soul fruit, and with Charlotte Linlin's original powerful power, it gives people an unstoppable feeling. And Charlotte Linlin's blow went straight to Foz. Foz hurriedly turned around to dodge, intending to dodge the blow. But the blow came too fast. Moreover, at this most important time, a thunder force with extremely powerful power suddenly surged out from the ground, numbing Foz's legs. Perhaps the amount of damage this electricity did to Foz himself was at most paralyzing his legs for a few seconds. But these few seconds have become a fatal crisis. Advertisement. Boom. Once again, Foz, who took the strongest blow from the four emperors, vomited blood and fell 100 meters away. This time, Foz did not stand up as smoothly as before, but fainted directly with a look of horror on his face. There is so much confusion. Perhaps before the consciousness disappeared, Foz himself was still thinking about what the two guys Kronos and Charlotte Linlin, Nordgood, had made a deal in private, so that Charlotte Linlin did not hesitate to make it happen. After Foz's defeat, the remaining Flying Sixers panicked. Very panicked. Foz is the true leader of the Flying Six, whether in terms of strength or combat experience, he is the closest to the three disasters. What's more, Fuzzy was a former CPO boss, and his strength was not ordinary, but extremely strong. Advertisement.